It is a civilizational crisis. I've said this before. We are at a place, and you can see it from a mile away, we are at a place where great civilizations start to go and new civilizational models begin to gain steam, and there's a place where those two cross paths, and they simply cannot coexist. We are there right now.
So shout out to Paleocrat.
Oh yeah, follow Paleocrat. He's all over this.
The woman explained how her boyfriend told her that his high fiber diet means that wiping is completely unnecessary. Oh my gosh, I'm seeing stars. They're worse than the people on the corner talking about the rapture's about to happen. It's an apocalyptic death cult. It's so demonic. I'm starting to think there's some kind of a conspiracy going on around here. Yeah, we are the wolf pack, by the way, guys. I forgot to say that. Ow! It's good to see you. It's good to see you. You guys always get me riled up, wild and zany. It's so imminent. Everything is imminent right now. 12 years, 8 years, we're all doomed. But the great animal uprising of 2020 is happening all around. They're even starting to talk, dude. I've seen movies. They're just at this point pulling diamonds out of their rear end, which would be a fascinating ability, by the way. I heard it's all about the pressure. It's gonna happen, guys. We're gonna push, and we're gonna push hard, because that is what is always done. That is what America does, which is why you can see all that destruction. And what happens, by the way? Cities get burned, windows get smashed, people get pulled out of their cars, individuals have been shot, individuals have been beat bloody on the streets, and then what ends up happening? White supremacy is the big problem in America. What? No! No, no, no! It's over, man. It is over, son.
I think they're lying to us.
And you know how we know this? Because they buy into everything. They spread fake news like crazy. Is this real, guys? 50-50. There are people out there that have physiques like that. You see them oftentimes in parking garages like valet drivers and stuff. If you want to be an ignoramus and try to do the fisticuffs, hit the road, Jack and Jacqueline and Karen. Oh, you're not based, dude. You're based in Pato land, as in like located. Let's look him up on Google real quick. Oh, he's on 666 Pato Street. We're just gonna have fun. There's no serious stuff going on here. Oh, they're mukbang spiders. Why? Oh, holy crap. No. No, no, no. Do not flaunt that. That is not something to be proud of. There's been a big price tag for the sins that we've committed as a nation. And we've committed some of the most grotesque sins in the history of the world. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, there's this dude. He's kind of a beta cock, Play-Doh rolling, bubble blowing kind of guy. Says, you better take off that effing shirt, cause it offends women. What an ignorant way of looking at the world. You're gonna be tossed to and fro by every whim and fancy of a culture that hates you. This dude thinks it's offensive to women that I don't walk around with my shirt off. It's easy to say how great we are, and I believe that we're truly great. On the other hand, we got Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. They have no connection with the past, other than to simply remind the past always how much they hate it, and to dance on the graves of the democracy of dead. The rabbits are now dressing up as Nicolas Cage. Plastic surgery, I bet, probably from that stinking cat. And you're like, you don't do plastic surgery. And he says, look at the plastic surgery I did for the rabbit. We need to repent. We need to take a knee for Jesus.
Paleocrat's using that argument again. Come on, son. That's good, wholesome American stuff.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
They ain't never seen nothing like this before. Lit the room when I came through the front door. Ask me if I should overcome, what for? Train in the trees, please walk my sycamore. Touch burning sands, cross lands, and stormy shore seasons in the year, yeah. Ain't no channel for champions and chain no fear. Yeah, the champions, yeah.
Good morning, everybody. It is an amazing day to be alive. And I'm your host, Jeremiah Bannister. It's another edition of Paleocrat Diaries. Oh, man, what is today? Oh, my gosh, it's Thursday. It's December 3rd. We have a whole bunch of stuff for you guys today. We're going to talk about the hearing that was done last night, the testimony in Michigan. A whole bunch of my friends were there. I wasn't able to go. Bummed me out. I was super bummed about that. But you know what? The truth is any time that I'm not able to go to something that I think would be a lot of fun, it's typically because something pertaining to family. And the truth is, that's even more fun. So it's never technically the biggest bummer in the world, but it would have been nice. Let me put it that way. It would have been nice to be there, but it's always nice to hang out with my family. We played out, what was it, Moncala? I don't even know if I'm playing the right rules, man. I gotta look this up. I don't know where I could go. Do I have to go to a library or something? Is there a thing called an internet? Maybe I could check that out. Be a whole bunch of fun. Okay, speaking of the internet, everybody. Speaking of the internet, I gotta just go right away to this. So here's the thing. There's actually going to be a number of announcements beforehand. And I apologize, but the truth is, they're all really good. And they're not just good, they're actually important. And it's a wolf pack thing. Okay, we here at Paleocrat Diaries, we're a wolf pack. We're in it together, right? We're in it together. We're in it to win it. We never give up. We keep on smiling. And we always remember that we're going to die. So we make the best of the time that we have, right? We make the absolute best of it. But some people had asked me if I would be able to publish something over at my website for them. They wanted to have a reading list. Okay? A lot of people in the comments section. And look, this, to be really honest, this is not the first time that I've ever been asked for a suggested reading list or books that have influenced my life and my thought on the show. In fact, if I'm honest about it, it's been, I don't know, maybe the bazillionth time. And so I finally said, I'm going to do it. And it took me a little bit and I apologized, but boom, there it is. The reader request list of books that formed the life of my mind. And here's the thing. Remember, guys, I said I'm not going to be doing a whole bunch of stuff, typing out and spending all my time online. Don't want to do that. Pretty sick and tired of that. And so I decided, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to write it out by hand. I'm going to write it out by hand and see how it goes. And so I told you I had decent handwriting. I had to do a little bit of erasing. You can see the eraser I had was not necessarily the best. It's like one of those erasers you have in school. You know, it's like the really hard ones, the little nub. It's like super, super hard. And you're sitting there and you're doing this kind of thing. And it's just smudging that pencil markings everywhere. It's just really gross. Yeah, I had one of those. And so you can see it a little bit. But it's still nice. I even did a little winky face. Not necessarily the proudest of that artistic design of that, but the truth, it's a winky face. Come on, guys. It's a winky face. And so they're not listed in any order of importance. And of course, not all of those listed are equal, but I put on there, I have different categories. I had Catholic social teaching. Now these are papal documents, magisterial documents, stuff like that. I listed those. Books on political economy, social theory, culture. And these were all these ones were nonfiction. So I have a list. Check it out, guys. This is for real. Continued. And let me say this before I even go on any further. I kind of had to sift through a lot of books. Okay. I had to sift through them and distinguish between good, better, and best. So these are ones that I don't agree with everything in them. Obviously, you'll notice that. You'll see some of them. But they're books that have had a long-lasting impact in the formation of my thoughts, okay, and what I talk about on the show. So right there is continued with that. Here's the media theory section. I put a bunch on here, including, of course, propaganda, right? Had that on there. And so there's a bunch of really good ones. I even have, there's Chomsky. People might be surprised. You'd be like, Chomsky? I'd be like, yes, of course, Media Control. It's a great book. Science and Psychology. I have that on there. As well as myth, fiction, film, literary criticism, writing, and poetry. So, you know, in film, I could have put theater in there too, theater and film, because as you can see, look at this. So we're going to scroll back up. Each one of these are books, and right next to the books, you've got the author, and I just laid them out like that. Now, what I'm going to do, and I put it in there, I said I'm going to actually redo this eventually, right? and add some categories, because I don't have on here, I don't have theology, philosophy, apologetics, or the practical devout life. Right? Like, how then shall I live? That kind of a thing. And so I wanted to be able to put those on there too. But it was getting late, so I put in those little hearts. I don't know if you can see that, but in the little hearts, I got volume 1. But those are the books. Those are the books. It's about 3.5 pages of a little. I don't know if I've got it over here somewhere. Oh yeah, right here. So I'll show you what I was writing in real quick, and then we got more things. We got to move on. But right here, I write my speeches in this. This is my daughter's. This is Samantha's, and I may have some things in here that were still written by her. We've kind of taken that. My daughter, she died of brain cancer about 4 years ago, and in fact, one of the announcements has a little bit to do with this. But I've carried this with me ever since, and so I use it for important things. And writing for the first time in my life a list of books, fiction and nonfiction, that have influenced my thought over the years, I said, yeah, that's definitely worth it. So speaking of the website, last thing before we get to the real meat of the stuff, man, the real stuff, you got to go to paleocratdiaries.com. Okay, if you would like to connect with us, it's very easy to do. If you love the show, I know you do. I know you love the show. It's fantastic. It's one of a kind. It's super dupe bipolar. I admit it. It's super bipolar, maybe a little bit niche, but the thing is, it's a fantastic show. It's got a good host. I've heard great reviews. I've heard rave reviews, guys. They were all under duress, but they're still rave. They're still rave. But you can connect with us. It's got our email, including Thora Popinski, as well as my mega hot half Korean wife. Has her on there in the connect page. And of course, the membership page. You can also reach out to me like someone did recently and say, if you prefer doing checks and stuff like that, you're welcome to do it. You're welcome to do it, man. So, but every little bit helps, and 100% of what we receive here goes toward my children's education, where we actually have a video about that. And I'm hoping that I think that I put it in there. I'm hoping that I did, because it's important. I took out the one because I ended up getting busted yesterday, guys. I got in trouble. It's the first time I've gotten in trouble with YouTube. They said my video was blocked. They blocked my video. And it was because of freaking Terry Robbins. It's because of Terry Robbins. I played a video yesterday, and apparently at the very, very end, you have this little tinkling noise. I didn't even know what it was. I had no idea what it was. It was in the last 3 seconds of a video, and apparently it's a bumper, and it's music. It is episode 3, volume 1, Terry Robbins. Terry, I thought we were on the same page, man. We're trying to make people's lives better, aren't we? Telling people they can do it. They can make their lives better, man. We're here for the common person, aren't we? I only charge $5. You might charge a lot more. You may also be a little bit taller. Maybe a little bit more handsome with that chiseled jaw. I don't know. I don't have gigantism, okay? I don't have it. But I thought we were on the same page, brother. At least with some stuff. But yeah, man, I got in trouble, so I had to take that out. But yeah, so $5 every month. It helps. If you'd like to donate more, we have a couple people who do. And we're grateful, of course, for all of that. All right, guys. And yeah, of course, interviews, public speaking, all of that stuff is available. Paleocratdiaries.com. All right. Now, yesterday, I saw this, Dan Bongino. I don't know if you know anything about him. I assume that if you're watching the show, you probably do. Former Secret Service guy, real big conservative talker. He's been on a lot of shows. He's got a show, okay? He's written books. He's a pretty amazing dude. He's an amazing dude to follow. And he recently discovered that he has cancer. Now, I guess he's always had these growths, but they've never been malignant until recently. And it was getting bigger. And in fact, it was somebody who saw him. If I know the story correctly, my dad was telling me and stuff. And they said that it was that he has kind of a growth, right? Like almost like those fatty lumps and stuff, like cysts. And they just go in and they take it out and everything fine. But somebody was watching on Fox, and they were watching, or wherever he was, and they saw a video of him, and he had a big, huge growth on his neck. And it's a doctor, and that doctor reached out to him made it through, and he said, look, I saw it. It's actually worrisome. That's not what you think, and you need to go get checked. And so he went and discovered that he has cancer. And so he right now is in chemo, and he has his smirk face on, and he says round 2 is about to begin. Okay, and I've never done this before. In fact, I have never done the next couple things I'm about to do on the show. But I want to actually say something to Dan Bongino. In fact, no, I don't want to say it. I want my daughter to say it, because she says it better than me. She says it in a way that only a 12-year-old girl going through chemo could have said it. And I just hope that no matter how hard it gets, Dan, that you realize, number 1, you are not alone. Number 2, you are a strong dude, okay? You are a strong man. You're very important to a lot of people, and many people all around the world love you, and they pray for you every day, and they wish you the best. And so I encourage you with the words that my daughter encouraged all of her followers with, the words that she changed my life with, and the words that are the very core of this show. And it is never give up, Dan. Keep on smiling, Dan. And as hard as it is, remember, memento mori. We will all die. Remember death. Fight it tooth and nail, man. But keep in mind always, and you are right now probably more than you ever have in your entire life, but be grateful, in fact. You're an inspiration to a lot of people. And I'd like to introduce you, Dan, to someone who also inspired a lot of people, and someone who changed my life forever, and it's my firstborn daughter. We lost her 4 years ago, and we recorded this, and I hope that it brings inspiration and hope to you and to others, even when you're going through this very, very difficult time.
Hi everyone. I just wanted to say hi because I'm in chemo. And that's all I really wanted to say. I love you guys.
Yeah.
Papa, you need a face mask.
Huh?
We all wear these so that we don't get germs on your port.
I know.
Yeah.
Papa's not that close to you right now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's okay.
Here, I'll back away, though. I'll get away even further, and I'll face my face right out the window.
Hey Sammy,
go,
so
all right.
where do you like Buzzy to be? Up on your shoulder?
Yeah.
Okay. You right? Do you want Buzzy right away?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna take these off, okay?
Okay.
All right.
You want IV 3000?
Yeah. Okay.
Whatever.
I didn't grab any, so let me just go grab some. Okay? It'll take me 2
Are
seconds.
nice and not.
Put your foot in.
You're good.
Oh, nice.
You're doing
Okay.
great. And that's super duper duper white
Yeah, it's
right
very
there.
white.
Hold
Yeah,
on.
we're gonna clean.
Yeah, and then you clean
Oh,
it.
wow.
So Sammy, do you
Yeah.
like to think about your dandelion now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So let's close your eyes. Where did you find your dandelion today?
I found it in a valley.
In a valley. Is it deep or was it really steep when you walked down in the valley?
Yeah.
Or it was. Okay. And is it a huge valley? Can you see the end of it?
Yes.
What's at the end of the valley?
Dandelions.
Dandelions. Are you in a whole huge field of dandelions or are there just a couple?
I'm in a huge field of dandelions.
And are there yellow dandelions and white dandelions?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are the white ones blowing everywhere? Can you look up in the sky and see the white dandelions blowing through the air
Yeah.
like little pieces of cotton? Is it beautiful?
Yeah.
Okay, how many dandelions are we going to pick today?
2.
2. Okay, so look out into that field, down in your valley, through that whole area, and find the biggest dandelion you can find.
Got
You
it.
got it? Okay, now bend down and pick it up. Okay, now let's find the smallest one you can find. Look through that whole field and find that smallest dandelion. Did you pick it up?
I'm gonna blow.
Ready? You ready to blow on it? Did you blow the big one or the small one?
The big one.
Is it all gone? Are all the little white pieces gone?
Yeah.
Or do we need to do it again?
We need to do it again.
Okay, can we blow the small one? Did any of them get in your nose?
Yeah.
Yeah, they always tickle my nose. Can you feel them?
Yeah.
You can. And now, can you smell the dandelions on your fingers?
Yeah.
I can always smell the dandelions on my fingers. Okay, now that you're done blowing your dandelions, where are you going to go? Are you going to go back up the valley?
Yeah. And go home.
And go home. Awesome.
And give my mom and dad a dandelion.
Yeah.
Love that.
All right. I wanted to share that because the truth is, when I saw Dan's post, when I saw his post, it brought back so many memories. And I remember chemo specifically, radiation too. I mean, those are like really tough things. People who haven't gone through that or are unfamiliar with that, and haven't been in those rooms, you just don't understand. You know, I don't know if I've ever shown this. I will though. I may have, and if I have, I apologize for re-showing it. Let me see. I'm going to put myself back on the main screen. I'm going to put myself back on. Let's hope I don't mess it up. This right here is my daughter's face. It's the only thing I have left that gives me a sense of nearness to the shape of her hands, or, well, I have one more thing. I have a mold of her hand and her feet after she was in a coma. But her face, I can't kiss her cheeks anymore. I can't play with her hair anymore. But I keep this really close. And I know it's macabre. I know people be like, dude, that's pretty dark, man. That's pretty dark, homie. What are you doing? People who've gone through radiation and chemo, they understand. And so when I saw his face, he can give a smirk all day long, but you can see that this is not fun. You can see it in his face. It is not fun. And it's hard. And he's relying very heavily on people right now. There's no doubt about it. And so I hope, even in a small way, that even just seeing that, even just seeing that video and realizing, you know what? That little girl went through it too. She kept a smile on. She had to think. She had to put herself in a happy spot. And at the end of the day, it wasn't just the dandelion. At the end of the day, it was, I want to give a dandelion to my mom and my dad. He's got his own people in his heart and mind. But I wish you the best, Dan. I mean it, buddy, dude. I wish you the best, dude. And we're definitely praying for you. And it's not just for you. It's not just for you. That's my niece. The video, I guess, kept playing. It was like, oh, we're gonna keep playing here. And so, okay, yeah, I got you. But it's not just Dan. It's other people. And this is what I said. You know, I don't normally do this. I encourage people right now. This is somebody who reached out to me. I actually, when she was diagnosed with an anaplastic astrocytoma, the same as my daughter, when that happened, her family reached out to us and asked us a lot of questions. And it has gotten difficult. Things have not gone very well recently. And they started a GoFundMe for a Disney trip because the child's Make-A-Wish was canceled amid COVID-19. And it was a super sad thing for her. Her name's Delaney Thompson. And she has a GoFundMe page. It's over here. Now, here's the thing. Her Make-A-Wish come true, Delaney's Disney trip, as far as I know, they've got it. Yeah, it says right here, November 12th. They reached out to me a couple weeks ago. Delaney is going to Disney. Any additional support or donations go toward making sure all her wishes are fulfilled. And the truth is, I know exactly when you get to a certain place that is what you write. And so I hope that our Wolfpack, I know, look, none of the people on this show, none of the people tuning in are rich. And if you are, I'm mad at you because you're not my golden egg, man. You need to be my golden egg. You need to be sending me a bunch of loot. But the truth is, these are small donation people. These are the Johnny Q, Sally Sue types. Everyday folks. They work hard for what they get. It is literally another day, another dollar for so many. And so I don't come to you asking to help people for no reason, or just assuming that if you can't, you're a bad person. That's not the point. The point is if you can and if you desire to. And there's a lot of people. I mean, it could be her, it could be a lot of other people, but I happen to know this one. I happen to know this family. And I happen to know that cancer. I know it. I hate it with everything inside of me. You guys don't even know. When I see the words anaplastic astrocytoma, there is a fire that burns inside of me that you just don't understand. Man, it's coming out. I'm so sorry to start the day this way. We're in the first hour. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be fun. But the truth is, guys, it's like a sad play on Christmas. The truth is, not everybody's Christmas is happy. Not everybody's season ends with a smiley face and everybody coming together and singing inside of the room and money being passed around like candy. I know. You do too. And that's why I don't have a problem talking to you about this. That's why I don't have a problem opening up my heart. Man, it's vulnerable as heck, dude. I'm on a camera. People can laugh. They can make fun. And I can say, man, I don't even care. If you don't even understand how therapeutic it is to be able to open up about this stuff and to be able to reach out to people like Dan or Delaney, then I'm actually sorry for you. And of course, we're going to laugh. We're going to laugh right after seeing this guy. Because this guy right here, thank the Lord, is not in need of help because of cancer. He's in help for another reason. Because of a cancer that has flooded our society, has flooded the minds of our leaders, who have put on restrictions on our economy that have really ravaged families. And we talk about this. We talk about all the different families that are really hurt from this. And I found out just yesterday, that one of our listeners, in fact, you may recognize his face. He's in our Wolfpack song, that transition song that goes between the fun stories, which we're about to do. I promise, guys, I'm not going to be Mr. Cry Guy all day long, okay? And I'm sorry for doing that if I took you off guard, right? That's just the way it rolls. You got to be prepared, okay? But he's in that Wolfpack song between the funny songs and when, pedal to the metal. He's in that song. Him and his wife. They're great people. You see him in the comment section. His name is Adam. His wife's name is Bethany. They are Mr. and Mrs. Patriot. And right now, like many business owners, his business has really been hurt. It's really been hurt. And he's in fact, urgent need. He's with iGeek in Battle Creek. And so I encourage you, go find him. Okay, go help the Heikela family. And you look it up here. Take a screenshot. Take a screenshot of this page. Take a screenshot of that guy's face. Make a meme out of that. But seriously, look up Adam Heikela on GoFundMe. And his business, okay? Look it up and let him know. Let him know you care. Let him know you're glad for what he does. Because this guy, he's a real mover and shaker. He puts himself out there all the time. And he's really good at what he does. He puts his heart and soul into what he does. And so just let him know. If you have the funds. If you don't, it's okay. If you don't, it's okay. Because we're in this together, aren't we? That's the whole point of this. We're a wolf pack. We are a wolf pack. Oh my gosh. Okay. I say that and I'm all like, yeah, man, okay, this is great. And then the first thing I see is this. Oh, no. And before we move on any further, I have to do this. Okay, here we go. I have to do this. Just so that everybody knows. You can comment. We'll engage with the comments in real time. Okay, and that way we'll go ahead. Well, not in real time. We do it every once in a while. We hop over, and then we go back to some stories and hop back and forth, that kind of thing. But no matter where you are, if you are on Facebook or you're on YouTube or you're on Twitch or DLive or Periscope, it doesn't matter. If you comment, it goes into this feed. Now you're seeing right now a bunch of Facebook, right? Yeah, it's been all Facebook at the beginning. Morning Sunshine, that's Bethany. Look, Bethany, that's Adam's wife. That's Mrs. Patriot. Super happy. Annette Conrad said, okay. I don't know what that's about. I don't know. Okay, what? Okay. What are you talking about, Mom? What are you talking about? Let's see here. You got, John Clore. Ow! Ow to you, buddy. Ow! I'm super happy to see you, dude. I am super happy to see you. Let's see, day 3 of the final level of 2020. Yeah, it's totally true. Totally true. There's a lot of this. I have no idea what this is. I have no idea what this is. Salamat Malam Banda Marakudan. I have no idea. No idea. I'm not even going to talk about it. So, Barbara Farley, hello from Wisconsin. Hello to you. And then we've got this. I have no idea what that is either. I know a couple things in a couple languages, but you start throwing that on the screen, I'm not really going to know what it is. I'm not really going to know what it is, man. What is that? Some kind of Arabic? Is Arabic? What is that, man? Let's see. I didn't get notified on Facebook, so I came here. You didn't get notified on Facebook. Now, am I broadcasting live on Facebook? CF, good AM, Pack. Good AM, buddy. We are going to rock out, man. We are going to rock out, brother. It's going to be a good day, man. And it's good in large part, maybe, because you're here. Really happy to see you, buddy. Seth Troutner. Hey, dude. Yes, man. Thank you for the book list. Yeah, no problem at all, dude. No problem at all. Tell people what you did to my 76 Mercury Cougar when you were 16. What did I do to your Cougar, man? What did I do to your 76 Cougar? I'm honest, man. I forget. It sounds like a great story, though. You got to tell me, man. What did I do? Oh, Terry. Okay. So Tony Bennett is the guy with gigantism, not Terry. Well, I'm gonna spin this because I blamed Tony Bennett. So it's even worse. It's not. I think it was, but I don't think it was Tony Bennett then. I think it was Terry. Who the heck is Terry Bennett? Terry Bennett, episode 3, volume 1. Who the heck are you, bro? Who the heck are you? And how is that a song, man? How is that a song, dude? Who's Terry Bennett? I mean, he had a great video. He had the doctor on talking about masks and talking about relative size and scale for the virus and the pores of the material. Yeah, that's what it was. It was just the final 3 seconds. I'm like, dude, there's no way that is recognizable in 3 seconds. It's not like the Jeopardy song. I don't want to bust Terry's chops though. And Tony, dude, I'm really sorry. I'm sorry for blaming you. I should have figured, man. If it was you, you would have gone, oh, Paleocrat, wink, you're good, bro. Tony, we're like this, guys. Me and Tony. Me, Tony, Yanni, the whole crew. Right? That's what it is. But Terry, I'm pretty sure it was Terry Bennett, man. I'm pretty sure it was Terry Bennett. I don't know who that is, though. Oh, man. Let's see. People are saying yesterday there was an interesting question in the comments. We understand Christianity to be a complete system, and we know, unfortunately, war is part of life. Yes, it is. Dude, it's true. And that's why we have to talk about war. That's why I've talked so much. I used to dedicate really, really large amount of time to foreign policy, to war policy, to geopolitics in general. Used to do that, man. Used to do that. Let's see. Shree's in the comments on YouTube. The last one I'll do. I'll do 2. Shree says, I have to punch in soon, but I wanted to say hi. Hello to you, my friend. Hello to you. You got to do what you got to do. You got to do what you got to do, woman. And then at the end there, Brian, good morning, Wolfpack. Good morning, dude. To you. We're going to have a whole bunch of fun, man. We're going to have a whole bunch of fun today. Starting with this guy. Is this real? There's no way. Did they really do this? Over at Mike, National Geographic determined what Americans will look like in 2050, and it's beautiful. Oh, dude, I'm sorry. If this guy is tuning into the show, dude, I'm really sorry. But come on, man. It's maybe not just your best side. You know, maybe. And look, you can join the jihad with me, dude. The jihad on fat. We're doing it, dude. We're going hardcore. We both need it. Believe me. Believe me with this picture. Oh, who sent this? There's no way it's real, dude. We got to get our fact checkers on it right now. We got to get our fact checkers on it. I can just imagine. It's 2050, guys. It's 2050, guys. Here's what it is. Oh my gosh, man. Oh my gosh. Yeah, in the comments, the popes have discussed things like just war, but what about strategies like art of war? Yeah, dude, that was a good question. That was a really good question, man. And that's something, you know, I need to actually look into that, like the art of war. I would say, and I think I said yesterday, man, Maccabees and Judith. Those are good, man. I'm telling you. You know, it's one of those things like spycraft, you know, that you to understand and to see how war can or has and can, and in some cases maybe ought to be done. Oh, what's this? Okay, I was like getting some with JFK. It's always fun. What is this thing? I'm kind of worried though, man. Like, how are you gonna make this funny? You know, I can, and you guys have a real sick sense of humor. And if you don't believe me, again, that look at that, America. Is that really what we're gonna become? And what is it gonna take to get there? How hard are you trying? Do we have to make that happen? Is it inevitable? Is it our fate? I don't think so. I don't think so. A lot of people have consigned themselves to that, though. A lot of people have consigned themselves to that. Let's see what JFK has got to say about it.
There is nothing, I think, more unfortunate than to have soft, chubby, fat-looking children.
Oh, is that a deep fake? What the heck, dude? I don't know. I kind of believe this, though. I kind of believe this. Number one, he was back in the day, dude. He was back in the day where you could say stuff like that, you know. And it's true, dude. I mean, we should be able to say that now. That there's very few things in this world that are as tragic as seeing, you know, a hyper-obese little kid. That's a really sad thing. I mean, people turn it on as a joke. They turn it on, you know, turn on Maury. Shows like that. You know, my son is 200 pounds. He's only 3 years old. And you're like, what? What? And it's always, dude, I'm telling you, I've always seen it where it's a mom. It's a mom. And the mom is like, he just always wants to eat all the time. I don't know what to do. And it's like, don't give him all the freaking food. Lay down the law, lady. Lay down the law, toots. You got to do it, man. And if you're in that position, maybe you're a single mom. There's a lot of those. It's tragic. If you're in that position, you especially need to be strong about it. You can't be like, you know, after Arnold Schwarzenegger got that divorce from old Shriver. You know, the sons, right? One raised by the other, you know, kind of thing. And her son is just Captain Lardo pants, looking really awkward. I mean, real weird looking guy. And then you've got Arnold's kid, man. He's looking like some kind of fitness model. Probably is. And you say, look, man, those are, honestly, you know, destiny's not all around the waist and stuff. But, man, it is important, guys, to treat your body like a temple. And it's something I'm learning myself. I'm not judging you guys. I'm a guy, look, if mine's a temple, then it's kind of like that church that we saw yesterday that's completely surrounded by years of overgrowth. It's what it is. You know, there's a video, man, back in the day, like a PSA, I think, was JFK, was he part of it? About what phys ed used to be like, man. It was, wow. It was actually physical education. It was real physical training, man. No joke. All right. Ontario man reunited with wallet. Lost 54 years earlier. Dang, son. Is that the wallet? It doesn't say stock photo, so that's the wallet right there. 54 years. Dude, it's held up good. It has money in it. Dang. Yeah, look at that. Oh, I found it in an old couch. What? Oh, a guy found a wallet in an old couch and returned it to the owner, Darcy Major, who last saw it in 1966. Wow. Yeah, man. An Ontario, Canada man who lost his wallet. See, I was thinking when they said Darcy, I ought to know better, man. Darcy's one of those words that can but probably shouldn't go both ways. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't know, man. I just don't know if that's a really good first name for a dude. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of the way that works, man. So it says right here, lost his wallet 54 years ago, and he had the item returned to him after another man found it in an old couch. Darcy's 86 years old, of Port Dover, said his wallet went missing 1966 and never found out what happened to it. Dude, you lost it in a couch, man. You lost it in a couch. And who found it? Christopher Camacho. Camacho. Oh, dude. Man. The president from Idiocracy found it. That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. He found a lot of things, man. He found a lot of things. You know, he found the smartest guy in the world who figured out a way to, you know, make the plants grow again. Figured it out. You know, give credit where it's due, guys. Give credit where it's due. Camacho found this. He's the real hero, guys. Camacho found the wallet in an old couch. Okay, you're repeating the same thing. It's like the third time I've read that. Come on. Who wrote this, dude? Who wrote it? Oh, it's UPI, so it's probably just, yeah, odd news. See, UPI, you guys, it's like, I bet you it's a robot. I bet you a robot, man, does this. It was Unreal. Where it's been for all those years. And it's not Unreal, dude. It's called, you have a difficult time thinking to look in most obvious places. Where did I find, you know, if I lost anything, if I lose anything at all in the house, and I do regularly, Ailey can tell you this, I lose stuff in the house, and the thing is that the very first place, check in the chair, check in the man chair, okay? I don't really like sitting on the couch too often. I sit in the man chair every day. I'm constantly having to kick Ambrose's little butt out of there. So like, your butt has some growing to do, champ. Maybe get in your own house, bro. Because this man chair is mine. It is mine. But I lose stuff in it all the time. Even the couch. I lost the couch in the man chair. Where'd the couch go? I don't know. Check the man chair. Oh, here it is. Pulling it down. You know, but the thing is, imagine the feeling. You know, it was quite a thrill. It was quite a thrill. You know, he admits it. And the truth is, what kind of a thrill was it? Did you bring it out on a date? Can you imagine, guys, that you have been apart for so long, and finally you see this wallet again, and you're trying to remember, like, man, it was so important to me, all of those really important things, and you're so excited about it. It's like seeing, you know, if you're single, let's say you're an older guy, you know, and you're a widower, you're an older guy, and you remember, you know, you're like, man, it's really bummed out, and you say, I'm gonna, you know, kind of meet up with some people and maybe some ladies, and you meet up with a lady, and you're like, I remember, man, you know, she was really nice and she was real pretty. And after all those years, man, 50-something years, you lost track, and you find him, you look him up on Facebook and everything, and it's like, I don't know. It's a little outdated. Oh, yeah, everything here is a little outdated, according to Major. According to Darcy Major. You know. Or like the video. Imagine he goes to the Facebook. It sounds good. The pitch is good. He meets in person. He sees the lady, and he goes, it's a little outdated. It's a little outdated. Maybe a little overrated. I'm going home. I'm going to live the rest of my life just dedicated, you know, to the church or something. That's just what it's going to be. It was a mistake. It was a mistake. But, you know, what would you find in that? What would you find? That's like a time capsule in its own right. What's this? The New Yorker. Okay, December 7th, 2020. Whoa, son. Dude, they're going to get flack for that. They're going to get flack. Number one, okay, you got the single black lady drinking and on her phone, right? And so she's like, look, I got many vices. On her phone, staring at a computer, drinking some wine while the house goes to crap. You know, on the ground, she's got the gloves. She's got the glubby gloves. She's got masks that she hasn't thrown away. She's looking like a complete slob. Oh, and up in the oh man, up on the shelf, dude, she's got a bunch of bottles of wine. She's just a boozer. Oh, dude, she didn't even shave her legs. Oh my gosh. Okay, you look. Are they going to get flat, guys? What do you think? What do you think, dude? Are they in trouble? Are they in trouble? Oh, and look at what's this one? Oh, this is the December edition from 1957. Well, guys, look. A lot has changed. A lot has changed, right? A lot has changed, man. It's really tragic. Unbelievable. Let's see. Well, okay, yeah. Speaking of something that changed, look at this. No, that's not real. No, this is fake, dude. This is fake. It's the same thing as before. There's no way that's a new one. What is it? It's like really clean. It's got a dog there. It's got a baby. No, dude. This is not real. They did not change it to look like that. Oh, and it says the Holy Bible. And the joy of cooking. Okay, no, that's fake. That's fake, guys. We're not going to be oh man. We're not going to be fooled by this. We are not going to be fooled, man. Not going to be fooled. All right, here. In the comments, it says, can't get that big eating insects. Well, you're talking about the way that we're all going to look in 2050. It's true, yeah, they're really pushing the insect thing, you know. The New World Order is like, just eat the insects, no more meat. Yeah, how are you going to get that way? How are you going to get that way? I mean, maybe we're all going to load up on, you know, the sumo diet or some crap. You know, that's just going to, you know, what it's going to be. Brian, I think my brother works or worked for iGeek. Are you serious, dude? Are you serious, bro? In the comments, so your brother might actually work, or he had worked for Adam's business, iGeek. Wow. The more you know, dude. The more you know. It's only degrees of separation, man. You know? Only degrees of separation. It's like that Kevin Bacon thing. Let's see. Brian says, at least he looks happy with his weight. Dude, the guy at National Geographic? What? Yeah, dude, he looks like he's having a great time. He's looking really excited, man. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, okay. CF says, this sounds like a coded espionage story. Dude, doesn't it? Are you talking about Judith? Yeah, man. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, man. That's hilarious. Okay, moving on, guys. Moving on. And remember, share this, man, if you guys like it, especially this week, because our reach has been kind of, decapitated. In fact, given the significance and importance of the ways that the big tech has made it very difficult to get the show out over the past week, and it will be resolved, believe me. Next week, we'll be back to our regular bumping numbers. But the thing is that right now, given the significance of the avenues by which this show would go out to the masses, the way that they put a halt on that, it's more like castration. The lifeblood, man. The energy, dude, is just toast. Just totally toast here. Let's see. Australian woman finds wild koala, what? In her Christmas tree. Dude, okay, do you think that thing was trying to hide? It's like, oh, the woman found it there. Oh, it's odd news. Okay, it's another UPI story. I never know what to believe. I never know what to believe here. Yeah, but apparently the Adelaide and Hills Koala Rescue said the hotline operator initially thought maybe they were being pranked when Amanda McCormick called to report finding a koala climbing the Christmas tree inside her home in Manum. But no, a koala, desperate to get in the Christmas spirit, had wandered into Amanda's house and decided it wanted to be the fairy on the Christmas tree. The fairy? What are you? Have you guys ever heard of that? Do you guys have fairies on your Christmas trees? I've never done that. Where's the Christmas fairy? What? What do you mean Christmas fairy? What kind of weirdo even talks that way? What kind of weirdo does that? The female koala was safely returned to the outdoors. Koalas are very curious creatures, and if the opportunity presents itself, they will investigate. Rescue told 9 News. Yeah. Oh, there's a... No, it's not a video. Okay, but let's look at this for a second. Would you allow the koala to stay? I probably would. I heard they smell like dookie. I heard they're not necessarily the nicest creatures either. But, at the same time, I mean, come on. The bugger looks like he's having fun. He looks like maybe he's willing to just be one of the ornaments on the tree. And this tree is not doing very good, by the way. Not doing very good. Okay, hold on. I gotta shut that thing off. Don't know what that's all about. But yeah, I mean, look, it looks like he's having a fun time. That's what I'd say. He's having a fun time. I'd be divided. I would consider leaving it. And by the way, it doesn't hurt because that tree decoration sucks. It's so bad. Like, look at it. It's the blandest decoration I've ever seen in my life. It's, no, actually, yes, because I was going to say it's as poorly decorated as the Christmas tree at the GOP Christmas party. Was it last year or the year before? Any which way. I was going to say that, but the truth is the GOP Christmas party for Kent County did not even have a Christmas tree. There was no Christmas music. There was no Christmas food. It was like a food like Hawaiian food, or it's Hawaiian and Asian, it's like a mix of stuff. It was like there was no Christmas spirit. I don't know who made that. I don't know who put that party together. But the Trump 2020 mega Christmas party was way better. And I know this because I am the one who assembled the playlist. It's true. And it was totally dope. Mega awesome. Santa showed up. And it was the real one. It was the real Santa Claus. Oh, man. People ask, how can they donate on my website? Are you talking paleocratdiaries.com? You have to go to the member page. If you'd like to donate, the way to do it is to, is Ailey in the comments? Is she in the comments? Because we have a what is it? A PayPal. We have a PayPal. In fact, I'm gonna message you right now. Here we go. PayPal. Okay. And that is at Ailey Bannister at gmail.com. Bada boom. There you go. And you can also do, if you like, you can do Cash App if you have that. And that is just money symbol Paleocrat. So that's another way. That's another way of doing it. No, I don't know. Did it allow me to share that? Did it allow me to share that, man? Because over on my website, it's a recurring donation. So it's like $5 if you want to be a member. And we should put on there if people would just like to make donations, because we have some people that they donate a nice amount of money, but they always do it by sending it to our home. And so there are people who have asked for our address and they send it to us. Checks like that, we just sign them off, and that's how it goes. And so we have a number of people who do that. But if individuals want to do it online, it's really a membership thing. I want to get our Patreon going, but I don't want to divide up the patrons with Patreon and the members on the other one. And so I have to figure out a way. Can I make those two fuse together? I have a feeling that I can. In fact, I thought that Wix was saying something about Patreon, but I might be wrong about that. But because I want to make it, the difficulty would be if I make membership-only videos, which I plan on doing, and membership-only podcasts and everything else, that if I do that, if and when, it would only be available either for people on Patreon or for the website. And so it's kind of a difficult thing. We're working through it right now. In fact, we're even talking with techie guys right now to help us to make sure that the page is aligned properly, so that people, it's uniform across different platforms. It's actually one of the things we've kind of struggled with. Okay. All righty. But I appreciate it, by the way. I appreciate it big time, Brandon. Yeah, man. We love doing what we do. And remember, every bit of money that is donated to this show, 100% of it goes to my children's education. Every single penny. There's nothing that ever goes to anything else. Okay. And so we send our kids to a school. In fact, we're going to show a video here in a little bit of that. But first, I see Adolf Hitler on this, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to go through with this. What is this? Because we only got a couple more funny stories, and we got to get to the serious business. We got to do it, man. But what is this thing? Adolf Hitler. Should I go forward, guys? I don't even know the rest of it. I don't even know the rest. Should I do it? Should I not? I'm not sure. I'm going to do it. We're going forward, guys. Because I can't use the Jeopardy song. I was going to do it, but I get in trouble. I'll get in trouble, dude. They'll be like all over me about it. YouTube, even if I do it with my mouth, Or do it with my nose. I wonder, would you get in trouble if you did the Jeopardy song with the nose banjo or whatever? You know, like, if you do that, but you did the Jeopardy song, would you get in trouble? A juice harp, you know, I don't know. They're like, it doesn't matter what instrument it is. It doesn't matter if you're playing that nose harp. It doesn't matter, the nose banjo. It doesn't matter. Okay, we're doing it, guys. We're going forward. Adolf Hitler wins an election in Namibia, has no plans of world domination, dude. What the heck is this? What is this? Hitler, my neighbor. I don't know. I don't think that's what this was. Okay, so yeah, all right. I don't know what this is all about. That's just some random thing. Was it supposed to be a video of this guy, or is it not? No, it's just Hitler, my neighbor. So, okay, a politician named Adolf Hitler. Who did that? What parent was like, you know, oh my gosh, you guys are bad, dude. That's worse. That's worse than that city deciding and voting to preserve the name swastika. It's the name of an American. What is it in Connecticut? Swastika, Connecticut, or some crap? You know, like, that's pretty rough, dude. Where are you from, man? I'm from Swastika. Holy crap. Are you really? Why do you live there? It doesn't mean what you think it means. Yeah, try that argument, guys. Try that argument, dude. Oh, my gosh. Won a regional election in Namibia. Adolf Hitler Unona, oh, really? Unona has been elected with 85% of the vote. So, okay, so he's got like dictator margins for a seat on the regional council in the former German colony. Oh my gosh, dude, this is bad. Where street names, people, and places still have German names. However, Adolf Unona, as he prefers himself to be known, well, obviously. Well, is Adolf Hitler here? Everybody's like, what? Wow. Says he wants to assure people he has no plans for world domination. He said, my father named me after this man. Dude, really? He probably didn't understand what Adolf Hitler stood for. Of course, he tells himself that. It's his dad. So he's not wanting to throw his dad under the bus. You know, he's trying to think, man, his dad is a good guy. He's like, look, you know, my dad wasn't a Nazi guy. He's not a Nazi lover, okay? He wasn't sitting there promoting the Third Reich, okay? It's not what it appears. He won the ticket, man, on the Swapo Party, which has ruled Namibia since independence from apartheid. South Africa, 1990. His wife calls him Adolf. It'd be too late for him to change his name officially. Holy moly, that's him. There he is. I mean, the resemblance, guys. It's stunning. Is Adolf Hitler here? And he raises his hand like, of course you're that guy. Of course you're Adolf Hitler. Doesn't this defy so many of the Diversicrats' expectations, though? If you imagine in America, right? You say you're a group and you say, look, I'd really like to have Adolf Hitler come and speak. And you know the Diversicrats who run that shtick, dude. They'd be like, oh no, you're not having Adolf Hitler come here. You're not having him. This is some kind of sick joke. Dude, you control them into being racist. Like, we all know that they're multicultural cult. We already know that that's uber racist, right? In fact, the very underlying assumptions in it are racist, which is why it always fleshes itself out in kind of a racial separatism all the time. It's inevitable. They don't have zero self-awareness on this. I mean, some of them do. Some of them do. They have self-awareness, and they're like, oh, yeah, we like to divide people up. We like to have, you know, the whites in back. we like to do that. It's vengeful, that kind of thing. But they, you know, they don't want people organized or anything. But imagine if you say, okay, I want to have Adolf Hitler come in and speak. And so you bring in all Adolf Hitler. you connect with this guy, and you say, look, we'd like to talk about, you know, apartheid and stuff. And say, you want to have Adolf Hitler come to speak to your club about apartheid. Dude, and you already know what the reaction is going to be. They're not even going to look into it. They're just going to come out with some major statement against racism, and you're going to pull up this guy. and be like, dude, you people are really ridiculous. Oh my gosh. It's unbelievable. We'll save that one. I don't know what that is exactly. I don't know what that is. We talked about animals already, man. We talked about animals already. I see raccoons and I'm like, I already know it's gonna be trouble, because they're thievesters, man. They are thievesters, right? They're always going in. They're always trying to steal. Now, in fairness, dude, maybe they're just against the big banks. Might be like that, Bonnie and Clyde kind of thing going on with them. And they've been into like public schools and stuff, causing shenanigans. They might be on our side, guys. They might be on our side. We don't know. Let's hear Donald Zimmer. I explained to my daughter that when Netflix started, they used to send you DVDs. They don't do that anymore. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Okay, you can't read it, but I'll read it. 6-year-old, old lady voice. Back in my day, the internet used to come in the mail. Yeah. Dude, yeah, okay, for one, it's totally true. It's totally true. But dude, they don't do the DVD thing anymore. I guess not, because you got to buy it. And they're just like, just buy it online. Are you able to download that, by the way? Like, if you bought it, can you put it onto a disc? I don't buy very many. I don't watch, to be honest. I don't watch a lot of stuff online. I don't watch. I mean, I do. I go in spurts, man. I'll watch every once in a while. I'll start tuning into a show, and when I do, I normally, I'm in it to win it. I'm in it to win it. The award for the most amount of time wasted and lamented after the fact. I do it, man. But I don't know. I don't know if that's if you can do that. Let's see. UK's oldest and most underwhelming Christmas tree back on display for its 100th year. A tree brought from Woolworths in 1920s went on to survive Hitler's bombs. Dude, you guys are sending me all this Hitler crap. You're doing it on purpose, dude. You guys are trying to get me flagged. You're gonna, because right now YouTube's not even being operated entirely by people, but by robots. And I do not accept the argument that robots are people too. Mitt Romney. It's robot Mitt Romney. Robots aren't people too, sir, my friend. No, they're not, dude. Robot Romney. Get back on your knees, son. Get back on your knees, dude. Oh, man, dude. It's a treasured family joke and a contender for the most underwhelming festive fur in the land. Yeah. Okay, guys. Okay. And this lady looks like she'd be the one to do this, doesn't she? Doesn't she look like she'd be the one to pull this kind of a stunt? How offensive, by the way, is that? Is it offensive? Is it offensive? I don't think so. It's kind of like, it's kind of cute in a charming way. Because when I first read that headline, I'm thinking maybe it's kind of like an overused pair of pants that you've worn for a long time, and your wife has said, "Look, you got to throw it away." Wives, how many of you wives out there, how many wives listening right now have gone through their husband's clothing and seen a pair of pants that they wear a bazillion times and you just want to throw it away? And have you ever done it? Have you ever just thrown it away? Oh my gosh, man. Have you ever done it? I thought that's what it was going to be like. I had a pair of pants like that once. My wife told me over and over, you got to throw it away. And I didn't. And one day, thankfully, I was at home. It literally started just tearing at the seams. For real. Like, I mean, all the way up. Inside, outside. It was as if all the seams. And I kind of wonder, now that I'm thinking about it, I kind of wonder if maybe she rigged it. Because how is that possible, man? It ended up looking like a pair of chaps. And I wasn't wearing chaps outside. That's for, it's for the marriage bed, It's for the marriage bed, guys. Let's see here. We'll save this one. This one looks like it's going to scare me. I don't want to be scared right now. I don't want to be scared by that. Oh, my gosh. Okay, hold on. What's this thing?
Song.
Okay, yep. Well, look, guys, we are done. We are done with the funny stories, and I hope you enjoyed that, man. It's a good way to start your day. And look, today, every once in a while, I will start the day with, some stuff that is a little bit more intense. Let's put it that way. and stuff that might make you cry. It happens. But it's important, that we're able to talk about those things. I think it's one of the things that makes the show different. There's a level of unpredictability with that. And we cut across all the different ways that emotion and ideas can be fleshed out in the show. I even did mukbang. Remember, I did mukbang on Halloween, eating my candy, and Thanksgiving night. I did my Thanksgiving mukbang, and it wasn't really a mukbang, but I was eating food. I guess it was. I mean, I was eating food. I was showing you guys the plate, kind of floating it around and stuff, the corn casserole. If you haven't seen that either, you got to check it out. The only way to see it, you can't find it on YouTube. And maybe in a week I'll just make it public, and maybe even repost it or something, so that it gets even more views. But the idea is to get traffic over to the website. And so if you go over to the website, number one, you can find what I shared this morning, okay? And what I shared this morning was this here. Oh, hold on, yeah, reader's request. I shared this, and it's just a reminder. Reader request, list of books that formed the life of my mind. And this is not all of them. I have other ones on theology, philosophy, apologetics. I might even throw in there education in general, as well as the devout life, like practical living. How do you, how then shall I live? Knowing these things, how then shall I live? And so I'll probably put those on there as well. And I'll have it with links so that if you're interested in purchasing those books or even reading them on PDF, but it's going to take a while. But as you can see, went ahead and I shared this, okay? Whole bunch of fun. So a whole bunch of fun. And so, you have to go check it out. But the thing is also, I went back there and I never ended up showing it. Right here, tonight, and it wasn't just our Thanksgiving night video. It was also the anniversary. It was the 18th wedding anniversary for me and my wife. And so you can see it's unlisted. And it will take you to the YouTube video. If you click on that unlisted thing at the top, you can watch it on YouTube. If you just push play, you'll watch it on my website. Okay, it's just kind of like embedded there, so you can just watch it. Or you can go to YouTube itself, but it's unlisted. So if you go to YouTube first, you're not going to find it. And it's nothing but fun, man. It's nothing but fun. So we had a really, really, really good time. It was a total blast. It was a really great time. And we're really excited. So, okay, as we're moving forward, I want to play something. It's longer than the other one. So this is kind of a bigger break, okay? It's going to give me a little bit of time to kind of get some stuff done behind the scenes. We've got a couple videos throughout this episode that I actually want to show you. I showed you one earlier of Chemo Day. That was for Dan Bongino. It was a Team Tiny Dancer production. It was my daughter and what goes into that and what it was like and how she was able to stay focused and to remember, how grateful she is to be surrounded by love and to get love from all around her, from her family, from her friends, from the great network of people and everything else to encourage. So we showed that at the beginning. And it was a really great time. If you missed it, you got to go back and check it out. But we're also going to show this. And then there's another video that I want to show later that has to do with what we've been talking about moving forward. No matter how the election plays out, no matter how the lawsuits play out, no matter how any of it plays out, we have a lot of work to do. And we're only now really beginning to realize it. I think a lot of people put so much trust in chariots and horsemen and a lot of trust in leaders that they've kind of forgotten that we need to put our faith first in God and then allow God to work through our families as well as institutions, but starting here with ourselves and our families and then extending out beyond that in our churches and in the state and in institutions all around the world, our vocations and everything else. And so I want to show a video. It's a funny one, as well as some clips. In fact, I think I've got it. Let me see here. Okay, yeah, I've got it there. So we'll talk about that after this break. This right here is a clip of my kids' school. So when I say that when you donate to this program, it helps our kids go to school. This is a production for the May Magnificat that was done at the school. And I'm just going to let it play. It's like 6 minutes long, but I'm going to let it play. There's various clips from different classes, and you get to hear the kind of thing that they do, right? And the kind of facility that they have, the kind of uniforms that they wear, the kind of excellence that they strive toward, as well as the involvement of the music instructor, who's a sister. She is a sister of Divine Mercy. And so we're really grateful for her, an amazing person. And so I want you to be able to see this so that you know that whenever you donate, that this is where it goes. Sacred Heart of Jesus, the Sacred Heart Academy, that is with the Sacred Heart of Jesus, the parish and the school. And so I want you to see it. So I hope you enjoy it. And we'll be back here in a couple minutes. And we're going crazy. We're going to have a really good time. It's going to be a whole bunch of fun. Tons of intense topics. Election news, right? Of course. We're going to talk about the hearing that took place in Michigan yesterday. We're going to have clips from that. We're going to talk about COVID, the hypocrisy. We're going to talk about the Great Reset. We're going to talk about the way the people are resisting and rising up. Even this kind of civil war going on, even within the GOP itself, because they're completely aloof. And they think that we're just going to go back into the dark night of the pre-Trump era of the GOP. And they're just dead wrong. And they don't know what's coming. And we, the Wolfpack here at Paleocrat Diaries, we are on the front lines. So we're going to talk about all that. Don't go anywhere. I hope you enjoy this. And we'll be back here in about 5-6 minutes. Are you serious? No. No. No, no, no. No, 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 no. We gotta open that back up, man. That's infuriating. What the heck, dude? What the heck, son? It's telling me, oh, we're having a problem playing the video. I don't think so. Right there is Teresa Avenue. It's on the right. That last note. That girl in the middle. She's got some pipes. We are grateful for these students. The pride. The dignity, the discipline, the honor. Forming leaders and saints. We love this school. And we love this church. We are so fortunate, in fact. And this song, it resonates in my bones. The power of that organ and all those people singing. It is a powerful, powerful thing. And listen to that voice. Goodness gracious alive. Yeah, we're gonna cancel that out. I love my family, but we're gonna cancel that one. We're gonna cancel that one out. So okay, before we move on, there's a couple things. There's a couple things we gotta do, man. Number one, we've got to raise our glasses high. Okay, so we've got to do it. We have got to do it, guys, because we do this every single day. Okay, every single day, we raise our glasses high to the sky. Let me get my refill here. I got to do it because we have so much news to talk about. And make sure, share this stuff with your friends, man. If you're having a good time, don't let a brother down. If you're having a good time, if this is something that you like to do, don't keep it a secret. Don't you dare keep it under a bushel, dude. You got to share it with your friends. You have to let them know. Put yourself out there on the line. Okay, you got to let people know and say, look, this show is kicking tail every single day, and let them know if and how it's impacted you, and if and how you feel that you have impacted the show, because you have. It's a symbiotic relationship. Okay, it's a symbiotic relationship between host and viewer or listener. Okay, and so we work together, and that's why we call ourselves a Wolfpack, and that's why every single day we rejoice for another day that the Lord has made. We are glad in it. We are grateful to have opened our eyes to this amazing place, and to have been created beautifully and wonderfully, and for times such as these. Because it's true, you are not here by accident. You are here by design with a great intention. You have meaning in your life. There is an end in view. You have a contribution that you must work and strive to contribute, to bring about in time and space. And not just for the here and now, but for the future. So it's not just what the future will call the present, but it's for what the future will consider the present. Okay? Or the past. Maybe I messed that one up. It's not just what the future is going to consider the past. That's what I'm saying. You know, it's also for what the future will be. It's what the future will consider the present. You are helping to create the world that your children are going to inhabit, and their children after them, and their children after them. So everything you're doing, everything you're thinking and saying, these are important. These are important, and you play a significant role, not just on this show, but with your, of course, more fundamentally, with your family, with your church, with your vocation, whatever it is. And so we ask you, no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing right now, I don't care if you're working, I don't care if you're doing laundry, I don't care if you're sitting down being lazy on a chair, you shouldn't be doing that, you know, but maybe you've been working really hard. No matter where you are right now, take whatever you've got. If it's a glass, if it's a hammer, I don't care. If it's a pencil, if it is corn on the cob, it doesn't matter. Raise that bugger high to the sky, because we are going to howl at the sun. We are going to howl at heaven and let the world know that we are alive and that we are committed to some basic ideas. That being, never give up, keep on smiling, and remember that you too shall one day die, because that's going to motivate us to do the absolute best we can. So here we go. All righty. Look at these little guys.
Part of the Wolfpack.
Part of the Wolfpack, Shirley. Adam, Bethany, little Louie. Yeah, little Brian, Annabelle, the Parkers. If you got But first, here we go to the dome. Yeah, come on. Look at him go. Look at that little guy. Look at his face. Annabelle, raise it high. Nothing's gonna stop us. Nothing's gonna stop us now. Come on. Come on, kids. Yeah. Bethany. Ah. Yes. I love you, Lucian. I hope you're watching right now, man. I hope you are watching and that you're having a really, really, really good time, buddy. I hope you are. Alrighty. Before we get to the serious bit, well, you know what? I think I'm gonna save this for after the first segment. I think that's what I'm gonna do, because this is a funny one. We've already talked a bunch of funny stuff, but I promised, man. I told people the last couple days, people have brought up different things, and I joked around about a segment about cologne. In fact, we talked about cologne a little bit on the show, and I didn't want to get too deep into it because there's a really funny story. And that funny story is on the episode we did, episode 18, Food Talk, the death of malls and accidental breastfeeding. But we also talked about the hilarious pheromone story, how I learned about pheromones. And it's a really great episode. It's not a video, though. And that actually bums me out a little bit. It's not a video. It's just a podcast, this particular episode. Sometimes we do videos. Sometimes it's just audio. This one was just audio. And if you're not subscribed yet to Paleo Cheese, it's one word, PaleoCheeze, so not S, it's Z, and Paleo Cheese Podcast. You can go ahead, check it out. Make sure to subscribe. We post quite often, in fact, regularly. It's a once or sometimes twice a week program, and do a lot of really cool interviews, a lot of cool movie reviews. We talk about music, and like this one, Food Talk, Death of Malls, Accidental Breastfeeding. It's pretty hilarious. Talking about kids and stuff. Talking about kids, and what it's like to be a kid and have your baby latch on. You're all like getting the warmth of skin on skin kind of thing that they encourage you to do. And then, there's the latch. And you're like, oh no. Leaving little marks in your sore for days. Yeah, dude, it's true. It's happened. It's happened. Dads know. Alrighty. Thanks to our readers. November was another record month. Gateway Pundit jumped above USA Today, NPR, Forbes, and WallStreetJournal.com in Alexa rating with over 125 million page views. Guys, look, it's because of us. Every day we are sharing their stuff, man. I'm telling you, we got to connect with these people. I have to. In fact, I should do it today. I should just say, look, I need to connect with you guys. I share their stuff every day. It's in fact, my favorite news source. Okay, I like it better than others. Not always because I agree with every single thing that they post. I'm not a cultist. And also, it's not always the deepest analysis. Sometimes it is. Sometimes they're like way ahead, like on COVID stuff. Their analysis on that and their projections on that were prophetic. And so we can look at it now with hindsight, with all these months of hindsight, to look back and go, well, there you go. There you go. Gateway Pundit was on the money. It's just true. They were. And they've got some really great writers. Jim Hoft, his brother, Cassandra Fairbanks, Christina Layla. There's a bunch of people over there that are really great writers. But apparently, Gateway Pundit climbed to number 104 in the Alexa rankings for top websites in the United States. That's totally awesome, man. That is totally awesome. See, you got Gateway Pundit 104. It's right ahead of Bank of America, right behind Yelp and FedEx and Verizon. So, that's where we're talking. That level, right? That level of reach. It's a powerful thing. It's inspiring to see. And we wish them the best and to keep on rolling. If you haven't seen this video, this is a video. I won't play any of it. It's too long, and I don't have clips. It'd be nice if we had like a 2-minute clip or something. But this is my buddy. This is my boy, Rob the Anti-Narrative, speaking at the Stop the Steal rally in Lansing, Michigan. Posted it just recently, just a couple days ago. And so you got to go check it out. It's a really great speech. He is defying many of the stereotypes, in fact. Just a ton of them. And by, a litany of them. It's a massive number of stereotypes about the Proud Boys. And he was up there on the stage and he was rocking it. So he's a really great guy. I use a lot of things from his Telegram channel. That's where I get a lot of my stories. And so, man, I'm getting all these friend requests and stuff. You guys, by the way, you guys get friend requests from people who have like, you know, 2 friends, but you kind of trust the friends a little bit, but then you go and you check out their Facebook page and they never actually say anything. They're just sharing posts. That's all they ever do. So there's never like an original post. And they might have a couple pictures, but the further you go back, you start to realize it's looking a lot like he lives in India or Africa. You just want to tell your friends and say, "Did you know this guy?" No, I don't know. I just accept friend requests. I don't do that, man. I don't do that. So, okay, yesterday, Donald Trump, this is on Facebook. It's the whole thing. I won't show that. I only want to show the beginning. This may be the most important speech I've ever made. I don't know how many people in the audience saw this, but it was fantastic. I was really grateful that he did it. And of course, the mainstream media, they aren't going to share this. They're not going to put very much out. But the thing is, he was going through with graphs to show how not just improbable the election was, but in many cases, how it was in fact impossible. And it's a distraction, I feel. It's not a distraction because it's legitimate. There were legitimate, serious problems that were going on inside of precincts all over the place. But at the end of the day, I think it has more to do with the servers, with the way that servers can be tampered with, even from foreign actors, as well as coordination, interstate coordination, involving, as we will see, UPS. And by the way, shame on you, UPS. Shame on you. Screw you, in fact. Screw you. FedEx and UPS both came out before the election and said they weren't able to transfer ballots, that they weren't authorized to do that. And yet we can see there's a video. You can see it. They tried going up, and you know what they do? The FedEx people, yeah, they covered up. They put a big opened up, torn up box to cover it so that you can't see, a barrier, so that you can't see. It's ridiculous. But here's the beginning. I just want you to hear the beginning because he's true. What he's saying is correct. And I just want you to hear it because you may not have in fact heard it.
May be the most important to have. Thank you. This may be the most important speech I've ever made. I want to provide an update on our ongoing efforts to expose the tremendous voter fraud and irregularities which took place during the ridiculously long November 3rd elections. We used to have what was called Election Day. Now we have election days, weeks and months, and lots of bad things happened during this ridiculous period of time, especially when you have to prove almost nothing to exercise our greatest privilege, the right to vote. As president, I have no higher duty than to defend the laws and the Constitution of the United States.
And it's true. And that's exactly what he did in that speech last night. In that speech last night, he talked about all the different ways, right? He touched on a lot of everything. But I loved it how he's pulling up these charts and he was showing how these charts, how it was just unrealistic. How there's just simply no way that data analysis can demonstrate this probability and can line it up. It's how we determine things oftentimes, like fraud in general when it comes to other businesses. Which is why one of the analysts yesterday, when we showed the video, and by the way, the guy that said what I'm about to say, that guy ended up getting barred from Twitter. They blocked his account. So he goes out there, he does an analysis. They don't say if and how and in what way he's wrong. But what do? They ban him. They ban him from Twitter because you can't have that information out there. That really pokes a hole in the narrative, doesn't it? That there's no evidence. When they insist over and over, there's no evidence, and you're showing evidence, and then they end up deleting the people providing statistical analysis, scientific evidence. Look, they could go, and people they could try to falsify that. That's a way you can falsify. Whereas a lot of these witnesses, even last night, a lot of it's going to end up being in the realm of he said, she said. And that's a problem. Look, it's one of these things where you got to say, okay, if you have a bazillion things out there that are showing major time fraud all over the place, okay, if you see that and it's all over the place and it seems like it's coming from every direction, you're going to have to choose which ones to prioritize, not to ignore others, but to prioritize them. And I didn't feel that Rudy Giuliani did that last night. Yeah, you're still waiting on your request for evidence to go through. But see, Dylan, look, dude, I really hope that you're not serious, because that would be one of the dumbest things I've ever heard you say. And I mean that because you're a smart guy. You're a smart guy. I have shown on this show evidence that you can say, okay, for example, not only evidence of UPS trucks coming in with ballots that when they're not even authorized, or the idea that pallets of ballots are coming in at 4 o'clock at night from unmarked from cars that are not associated with the city. They're not official at all. That's evidence. You may not realize this, but it is evidence if somebody has a sworn affidavit. That's why they're allowed in court. That's why they can be charged with a felony. It's why. So each and every one of those. And if you disagree with them, if you think that they're wrong and you think that they've lied, they should maybe, they should maybe be in trouble for that. They should be in trouble for that. Or how about the video of the guy going in, which, by the way, we'll talk about today. We showed the video of a dude going in with a USB and going and filtering out stuff from a laptop to a different computer. He wasn't supposed to be doing that. And what do you call it? What do you call it when you have groups that you put a subpoena? It's kind of like people who said that Hillary Clinton, there was no evidence that Hillary Clinton did anything wrong, and you go, okay, they can say that all day long, but what's amazing is that if Hillary has the right, and apparently she did, she never got charged for it. They never pushed it. And the DNC, that they have the right not only to forbid the FBI to go in and do an analysis of their own. Number one, that'd be inadmissible. It'd be inadmissible because that's completely, you have no chain of custody. You have no way to actually look at it. So you say, well, that's kind of weird. Why wouldn't they allow the FBI? They're crying for the FBI to come take care of this, and they're saying, oh, trust us. This is the story that our group that we paid millions of dollars to has said. And you can't go in and falsify that on your own, the actual group that would be overseeing any kind of criminal investigation into what happened? That's awfully interesting. In fact, you would say, there's very few groups that would do that, and for very few reasons. And basically every one of those reasons are fraud. Give me a good reason. Give me a good reason when that's the group. But if you have a subpoena like you did with Hillary, that you need to hand over the phones. What do? We find out that the guy overseeing it goes online and is looking for bleach bit. Then we find out that they broke him up with hammers after the fact. And then the emails, subpoena the emails. And what did we do? Oh, well, I have control over what emails I give you. And trust me, the ones I didn't give you, those are perfectly fine. That's mafia crap. It is. There's no other way of saying that. If Donald Trump did that, dude, your hair would be on fire. Be honest, man. I have too much respect for you to believe that. I have too much respect for you, man. Yeah. Yeah, and you said you don't watch my whole show, so you can't hold it against me. I don't show it during the funny part in the beginning, dude. I don't show it in the funny part. I'm being serious. And by the way, I might be talking tough to this guy. This guy's like a brother from another mother. Like I love this dude. And by the way, we need to talk because I can have you on the show. I've put together a template so that I've had a guest. I had a person live on the ground in Lansing a couple days ago. And it was the first time I'd ever done it. There were some things that I have to work out with the delay of the voice and stuff, but figured it out. And I made a template that's suitable for guests so that when they come on, it's got the top, the banner, and it's got the name and everything at the bottom. So we can talk about that, man. Because I want to have him on. He's a smart dude. He's a smart dude. But on this one, you just simply cannot. You just simply cannot. And you literally didn't give me what I explicitly asked for. What did you ask for? On my request for evidence to go through. You're waiting on my request for evidence to go through. I've actually given you not only evidence of a cover-up that in any court, Number one, we would look at that and say, okay, you are the mob. You're the mob. A person making a claim. If you're a defendant, you win. You win. And why would you win? Because that person would have done something that was wildly uncalled for. In fact, while under subpoena. While under subpoena. And I bring this up because that's what happened down in Georgia. They were supposed to be able to look inside those machines. And what ends up happening? Oh, you end up going in, Dominion goes in, and ends up wiping it. Ain't that fun? Ain't that cute? That's another hammer to a cell phone. That's another bleach bit. Man, dude, your side of the political aisle, dude, has a real problem with that. Where did they learn that stuff, dude? Sopranos? I mean, I'm serious, dude. That's bad. Like, for all the talk about Donald Trump being a mobster, I'm like, dude, this is literally right out of mob movies, man. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry to tell you that. You know, actually, we're going to go, I'll skip over that here. I'll skip over this lady, because there's some testimony, but I want to show this. I want to show this, man. Here we go. Show this one first. Here we go. So, and just as a reminder, before I show that, let's see here. Exclusive. Reuters. UPS, FedEx warn they cannot carry ballots like U.S. Postal Service. Okay, that's really cute, because look at this. Look at this. Ain't this a thing? Look at this. And there they are. It sucks, man, doesn't it, dude? We live in a day and age where people can have cell phones and record stuff. I'm sure they got away with it a long time ago. No, you're not. This guy, man. This guy, Dylan, I'm reading what you're saying. I'll get back to you. Don't you worry. I love you, dude. I'm getting back with you. Plus, I got you on the show, man. You don't come on as often as I'd love you. Yeah. I was actually just talking about you. No, so they put that up. Oh, look at that. Nothing to see here, guys. Nothing to see here. You know why there's nothing to see there? Because they assured us there was nothing to see. They assured us there was nothing to see. Which, by the way, again, this plus this... Maybe they're all just on the up and up. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe they were mistaken the whole time. Maybe that's what it was. I don't know. And maybe they're only doing that because, you know, I don't know. Why would they be putting that up? Maybe he had to tuck in his pants. Or tuck in his shirt. Maybe he had to tuck in his shirt and he wanted to be modest, so he put up that barrier there so that people couldn't record. Maybe that's what was going on there. Let's see here. Well, okay, so I need to go to this earlier. I'll go to the comments here. Why not? So, okay, so Dylan has asked. He said, number one, I'm on a political aisle now. You're kind of probably like me on that on the one hand, you are independent. On the other hand, I would be interested. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know how many Republicans you voted for. But, de facto, right? Like, by the very nature of voting patterns and behavior and the way that we land on sides of arguments, typically, whether we like it or not, the nature of our political reality, and this is something that I don't like. I've said before, I don't like admitting that, but that the nature of where we are right now, I would say that on that political aisle on the spectrum, that you are much further left than myself. And that our voting patterns might actually kind of flesh that out. And I'm not going to hide that. I'm not going to pretend. So you asked for an uncropped graph, unlike the one you'd given me that included a source for the data in it and labeled axes. Dude, that's what they've been doing. I've been sharing, and you don't like this feel of the show. You like it when it was more deep dive, stuff like that. I get it. But that's what these witnesses, like, for example, was it in Nevada? Recently, they had a couple witnesses who came in who had been, I believe, trained with Dominion. They'd worked with military on analytical things and analysis, computer analysts, things like that look into algorithms and look into data of this nature to say, not only how would this work, but what's the likelihood of it working? Where are the sources from? Where did you get this material from? And the thing is that even last night, the material was from the Michigan website. It was, so that's where it was from on the graph. It wasn't even disputed. And so, you can just go ahead and put it there. Let's see. CF says, Yeah, let's see. How am I supposed to take the charge of fraud seriously like I want to if the data I'm given to go on is poorly presented? Dude, it's not. That's what I'm saying. I've actually presented a ridiculous amount of scientifically based analysis. I've posted a bunch of these. And I tell people, I say, look, I've been a little bit of a shotgun blast on this, admittedly so. And I've been going 3 hours. I've been going 3 hours so that people can have as much of this info as they can, because I want people to go and say, is that right there? Is that article legit? Is this analysis legit? Some of these people, that's their job. That's their job in their life. They've worked with the military. They've worked with the government. They've worked with voting before, not only in the United States, but elsewhere in other countries, outing fraud, oftentimes even with these very machines. And come on, man. Come on, bro. Let's see. This was the first election you've ever participated in. Okay, man, you got me on that. You got me on that, dude. You know, I always forget, dude. You're a young whippersnapper. You're a young whippersnapper, dude. You know, because you're like you're wise beyond your age, man. You are. You're a smart guy, real mature for your age, dude. You know, you were tuning into me when you were 16 years old, something like that. So you were obviously ahead of the curve, dude. You're obviously ahead of the curve. You're a bright guy, super smart dude. Like I said, brother from another mother. You know, and so I can take a little bit of, I can say it's in our genes, maybe. I don't know, man. I know your mom. Oh man, dude, I love you, buddy. I love you, buddy. Let's see, and okay. So all right, let's see here. Let's see. So last night, okay, last night. I don't want to get into too much about last night. You know, it was one of those things like the first hour, and I'm just gonna say it. There might be people who don't like what I got to say about this on the right, and that's okay. I don't care. I think that Rudy did a terrible job. The first witness, man, he was asking like, how many kids do you have? He was kind of schmoozing with her. I'm like, dude, you buy a martini? Like, what are you gonna do? What's wrong with you, bro? Why are you doing that? And it ended up lasting forever. It gobbled up the time that could have been allotted to other people. And the guy, Hall, right, that was overseeing this. What's his name? His name Matthew Hall. What's his name? First time I've ever seen him, to be quite frank. It's one of those things where he's a softie, and under ordinary circumstances, maybe that would be okay. But you have to have a little bit more grit, man. He had to have more grit, and at this late stage, you got to sit there and you got to say, I'm going to prioritize all the hard-hitting analyst people first, and then taper it off at the end with personal experience and stuff that people saw and witnessed, because you don't want to downplay that, but you also don't want to get in the world of the he said, she said, or, well, they said thousands. How is that possible that they saw it? How would they know? If you said you saw thousands of individual ballots, how would the internal calculator do that? How trustworthy is that? What are the escape hatches that can be presented? And so it's not to deny that. I'm not denying it at all. I've seen too much of this crap. I've shown too many videos. I've seen it. We talked about Detroit leaks. So we showed the leaked audio. The leaked audio that our attorney general has threatened the publisher of that, which is a leak, by the way, has threatened the publisher with charges being filed against them unless he removes it. It's amazing. I mean, in fact, it's tyrannical, because these leaked audios, look, man, these leaked audios, it breaks it down where you have trainers and pole trainers that are teaching people exactly how to do what the people are explaining happened to them, what the whistleblowers are explaining happened to them. And we broke it down. We broke it down before the election. So people sitting there, I have people who are like, oh, you're saying this after the fact. I'm like, dude, we've been talking about this for like at least a month and a half before the election. We played the whole audio. I mean, technically speaking, if the attorney general in Michigan knew that was being shared on there, because even if the author, the publisher of that took it off, it's still on my video. We played the whole thing. Multiple leaks. And those leaks, it just so happened, and they were all from that exact area where the people who went in experienced what they're saying they experienced. It's remarkable. It's remarkable. But this lady was having a hard time. This lady was having a really tough time, man. Let's see here. And by the way, yeah, talking about all my praise really just depends on who you ask. It's true. But you and I both know, dude, not everybody has their finger on the pulse of accuracy about you as much as you old boy here. It's true, man. I got it on dial, bro. I got it on dial. Got it on dial. You're a guy, dude. I hope, dude, we grow old being buddies, dude, forever. Arguing, you know, getting together for some food on a porch. And, you know, well, you're younger than me, so I'll be on the porch in a rocking chair. You're still going to be kind of the stud who's like 60 years old, you know, driving around feeling cool and stuff. I'll be 80. You'll come over to visit me, feed me some soup. We can argue about politics and philosophy and all that stuff. Yeah. Let's see. Zach in the comments says, let's see here. In response to CF Halling, okay, they need to demoralize Trump supporters so they don't come out for Trump or the lawyers, or to prep their base for a fight if they actually lose. Well, what is this related to? Let's see here. Not entirely sure. Not okay. Yeah, I guess that's in response to CF saying, what I can't understand is how anybody can claim a lack of evidence. Yeah. So all right, I'll play this for a second. I don't want to spend too much time on this though, because I want to finish by 1. I want to make it 1:10. I don't want to go over 3 hours.
Present Detroiters, except a couple of us in this room. I have emails from Detroiters. We've taken, what, 2 hours?
What's your, did you have a question? I'm willing, please stop yelling, people in the audience.
That's the other thing. That's the other thing. I don't mean to be rude, but the people in the crowd need to shut up. It doesn't help. If you want to clap, clap. But if you're sitting there, blah, 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 dude, you're somebody who needs to honestly learn to be quiet, man. You need to learn to be quiet. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I apologize for that. So you've got this lady here, and I apologize. I won't play the whole thing again. But she's the one talking about Detroiters. And by the way, thank you, Ailey. You know, Ailey came down and told me that the comment screen was still on. I apologize for that. So she's upset. She wasn't asking questions. And she asked there were some weird questions. Like she was asking for this lady's name. Like asking first name, is that your real name kind of thing? How do you spell it? Like, what are you doing that for? It came off like harassment, to be quite honest. To be quite honest, it seemed like harassment. And I wouldn't put it past the Dems at this point because we saw what happened during the certification process. They were bringing up people's kids. Dude, if somebody did that to me, dude, I'd be like, yo, brother, we are going to meet at the flagpole after the bell, and I'm going to totally kick your rear end from here to China. You've effed around, and you shall now find out. Because you don't drag the kids like that and saying, well, you know, I know your kids go to a certain kind of school, and I don't know if their classmates are really going to like that when they find out. Wow, bro. Well, bro, what are you talking about, champ? And how's that not a dog whistle, you freak? I'd club that dude, man. I'd have clubbed him so hard. You don't do that. There's certain reasons to fight a man. I'm not a big fighter, but there's certain reasons to fight a man. You know, and that's one of them. But this lady, you know, she's you know, not really doing very well last night. I would not say that she did very well. It was not her night to shine. Let's put it this way. And she was taking it too personal. Kind of like embodying Detroit, as if there were not also Trump voters, as if some of these people are also not from Detroit. And so it was no good.
Please stop yelling, people in the audience. Let me handle this. Representative, listen, we've had hearings in the past, as you know. We'll have more hearings.
It's a little soft.
Today, we've invited Mr. Giuliani, and Mr. Giuliani has brought forward witnesses.
Find out if...
Please let me finish.
Yes.
All right.
And I wanted to share with you
out of order.
What the concerns
out of order.
are.
Do you have a point of order?
I'm sorry?
Do you have a point of order?
Yes.
What is your point of order?
Point of order is to have them under oath.
You're up.
Now, this right here was on the fly. What she just did was on the fly. And it wasn't very well thought, because it wasn't well thought through. And I don't want to say that she never has a thought through idea. That's not where I'm going with that, right? I want to be generous because we've already got enough problems already in society. I don't want to add more and more unnecessarily. So let's just assume that she ordinarily has a good point. But she's in a hearing from a bunch of people who have signed affidavits, and she wants them under oath. I'm like, that is under oath. They're only saying what they are saying and fleshing out what they had actually put into an affidavit and signed their name to. And one lady, which by the way, you know, she's one of those people, like she's like a stallion. The girl with the blonde hair, right? She was an IT person. She's kind of a rock star in, you know, the Trump right now. There's a lot of people who really like her, that sassy face and stuff. But if I was a handler, I would have said, look, you have to know when to be sassy and when not to be. You know, you've got to know when you're talking to somebody. You know, you don't have to always snap back. Sometimes they're just dumb. And sometimes that can actually hurt. Optics matter. And it might play well to the feeding frenzy of the base. But at the end of the day, you know, we're already riled up. We need to be able to ensure that these hearings are as effectual as they possibly can be. And that they are the biggest bang for the buck because you're limited on time. You know, she brings it up and he's like, look, you know, you're out of order.
Eyewitnesses, I would like to point out that every single witness we've...
And see, again, people, blah, 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 blah. You can't even hear them, but you can hear them, but they just sound annoying. The people in the back, the people in the crowd, and they interrupted repeatedly. I don't know who was doing that, but they interrupted repeatedly, which in doing that took away a lot of time. It irritated the people. And it was, that's what it sounded like. I'm sorry if I'm riling anybody up, man. I'm sorry about that. But I actually care about this, not just the biggest bang for the buck with this. I actually care about the process itself with this. It's a tough sell when people are like, man, we believe in the process. We want to make sure that the process is abided by. And those are the same people that are causing chaos. We have to do better than that. We need people who are actually going to say that too. So I'm sorry if I'm riling people up. I don't think my credentials are in question though.
Presented here has sworn.
And by the way, I know when to say something. I know when the right time to say something is and the right time is not. That's why I get on a microphone and I talk. I do a show. That's why I go to rallies.
An affidavit as to all of these facts.
And so,
Representative, please, I gave you some room there, but
If that is what you want me to do, I would do it. And I will still repeat the exact same thing I watched. And you know what? I also want to say one thing. If it is a lie, it may change because a liar has to have a lot of memory power. If it is truth, you can ask me in the middle of the night, it will still be the same.
So that was a drop the mic moment with this lady. And and there were some really powerful things there, man. Yeah, this is the one, a poll challenger's response to the Dem who called her a liar. Right? So that happened. You got the closing statement. I am not even going to go through the closing statement. Not even going to deal with it. But the thing is you have a situation, and I'm not saying it was entirely a loss. What I'm saying is, and they have to be better prepared for certain questions, to be quite frank, because the optics of that matter, like the question of, well, when they go, and they finally got around to explaining it, because it was the people at the tail end, the tail end of this, they were able to explain it. The question being like, why when they go back, why when they count the voter rolls and stuff, why are they matching up so much? And there were a lot of people who were like, well, I don't know. They were poll watchers, so they don't know. That's not their expertise. That's not what their analysis was about. They're talking about what they witnessed and what they saw. And it took a while. And eventually they were talking about, well, how can you actually, You're saying, well, how many people did it say voted and how many with this? But where are the names? How do you even know who it was? Where are the envelopes? How would you even be able to verify that? Is it a sufficient number of data points? And how would that play out if you've got fractional, that kind of game with fractional numbers with the algorithm with these voting machines? I had a buddy that showed me how to do it, man. I wish I could do it right now. He showed me. I should maybe do it right now. I don't know. I'm not going to do it. But he showed me you can do it on Chrome, where it can show how this 1 + 1 + 1 is 3.000000000, and then has a 4 at the end. And he was saying, like, this is how this is kind of an example of how this plays itself out and how you can manipulate things. And I mean, you can talk about stuff like this. This is obvious. The Native Vote Project. I mean, this, by the way, this is felonious.
Cards to raffle off, so that's a lot of money cash here. We have also 4 $100 gift cards.
It's a lot of money cash. It's a lot of cash here. And you'd hate to go after these ladies. I mean, maybe they just simply didn't know, right? Maybe they simply didn't know. I feel the same way about the young guy getting pulled over with marijuana in his pocket. like, hey man, I didn't know. Or the guy that gets pulled over going 10 miles per hour over the speed limit because he didn't see the sign behind him. Well, I didn't know. I didn't see it. I feel badly, but you violated it. It's true. But this right here, I mean, they're giving away gifts and money, cash money to people for their vote. It's illegal.
To give away. So again, you want to make sure you get out here to vote. And then we have 4 $250 gift cards to raffle. And our grand prize is going to be
Yeah, in the comments, somebody said that's just how computers do math, dog. Yeah, not voting machines. Voting machines, and that was an example he sent me. He said it's not the exact same thing. He says, but it demonstrates what is meant visually. Where someone algorithmically, like the reasons for putting fractional numbers and that feature is not available on all of the devices. It's not available on all of them. It's available through, I don't know, certain ones with certain technologies, which, by the way, it's hilarious because you then look, like we're going to see here in a second. And look, tell me if this is true or not. In fact, I'll just skip ahead right to it. Let's see here. News release, Dominion Energy. This is December 17th, Richmond, Virginia. The board of directors of Dominion, today elected 2 directors effective December 18th. The election of William P. Barr and Robert H. Spillman, Jr. brings the size of Dominion board from 10 to 12. Is it true? Is it true? Because we know Smartmatic. We know Smartmatic has people in the Biden administration. We know there are people. It's kind of like the same weirdo coinkydink thing that goes on where you say, wow, it's kind of weird, dude, how all these news agencies were saying that the DOJ had come out, or Department of Homeland Security had come out to assure everybody the election was fine, and come to find out it wasn't actually Department of Homeland Security. It was one of their advisory boards. And guess who's on the advisory board? The very group under consideration. It's mind-blowing, dude. This is like conflict of interest actually means something. It undermines the credibility of that. And so when you sit there and you go, man, well, it's kind of weird how this feature works. Why is it here? Why is it on these but not those? And why are the ones that it's on, why are those seemingly so strange? Why do they have internet access? They're not supposed to. Why are they having people popping USBs and crap into it? Why are they shutting down the Atlanta Hawks stadium due to a water leak that there was no work order for? There was no work order for that. They shut it down, told everybody to go home. When they came back, wow, guys, while you were gone, Biden got a bunch of votes. And by a margin that is unrealistic. Which is why, statistically, it's why I shared sometimes that picture, that funny picture where it's got both curves, these natural curves, and all of a sudden you see this massive spike. Blank, and it just goes straight up. Trump's curve continues to follow the same trajectory. Biden's has this magical ladder. This magical ladder when everyone was sleeping at home, when everyone was told we're not working anymore. We'll come back in the morning. Oh, they were working all night long. They were working all night long. And when they told all the watchers, you got to go outside, you got to leave the room. And when all those cars showed up, and I'm just telling you, I mean, look, you know, it's whacked out. It's whacked out. I'm going to step out for a minute. It's a minute and 33 seconds. It's Roger Stone. Roger Stone is a gadfly, no doubt about it. People can have different opinions about him, but this is what he said. Hey, look, I'm open for the debate. Tell me what you think. This is really what it's about. Tell me what you think. Tell me if it's legit. Tell me if it's not legit, and try not to shoot the messenger. Okay?
Really surprise anybody that Attorney General Bill Barr is now trying to bury the prosecutions regarding the origins of the phony Russian collusion hoax, or that he suddenly determines that there's no evidence whatsoever of voter fraud in the 2020 election, when in fact the level of evidence of voter fraud is both overwhelming and compelling. You may remember that 2 different Inspector General's reports recommended to Mr. Barr that he prosecute former FBI Director James Comey for crimes far worse than those I was framed for by the Mueller witch hunt. But Mr. Barr determined that he wasn't going to prosecute. And then the very week that I was falsely convicted in Washington, D.C., the prosecutors in my case who worked for Bill Barr announced that no charges would be brought against Andrew McCabe, even though he admitted lying to Congress, lying to the FBI, in the midst of a criminal investigation. No, we have a 2-tiered justice system, and Bill Barr's job is to block for the deep state, which is why the Durham ploy was quite clever. Mr. Durham has taken 3 years to produce nothing whatsoever when he has overwhelming evidence of both treason and crime. And now Mr. Durham's job is to bury all of it after the election. Bill Barr, you get what you expected.
By the way, someone in the comment section says, you're talking a lot about operation of these machines, but I don't think you know a whole lot about programming and computer technology, ? No, I don't. No, I don't. I'm a journalist, though. And so journalists will interview people, and they will talk to people and present official documentation on things. And when they do, they're able to rely upon that. And look, when people come and they sit before a committee, and they are professionals in this, military level trained professionals who've worked with the government, right? Even internationally, looking at fraud in many different countries. And they're the ones looking at this, and they're the ones going through the user manual. And I'm reporting on what they've said and what they've presented, right, in these hearings. And by the way, hearings that Dominion won't go to. Hearings that Dominion originally said they would, then they lawyered up, then they got a PR guy from the Jeb Bush campaign. And I have to balance those two things out. Who sent a representative who was doing stuff, filtering, who was playing around with computers he wasn't supposed to be doing. People, sleuths online, went and found the guy. They found his tag, found who he was. The idea, I've mentioned this before, it would be great if more Dominion people would come out. One of them did. One of the IT girl from last night. That's who she was, subcontracted? But she was working along with Dominion, and they weren't supposed to wear any badges to let anybody know who they were. Same people that won't go in and do any testimony in front of committees. Same ones who in the past have been busted in the past in other countries by the very same media outlets that say it's no problem. So yes, I talk about it. And I talk about it. But look, what did I say? I bring stuff up. If people think that I'm wrong about it, I've said on this show before, since I've come back to do this, I've said, I think, on 2 different occasions that I was incorrect about something. One of them was the way that a headline was done, and I rolled with the headline, not the substance of it. Yeah. Ailey's right. There are videos of people hacking Dominion machines. You can go and see how they can be hacked. It wasn't one of them by high schoolers? Dude, and so the thing is, am I somebody that's going to go and testify and say, well, here's how it works? No. I'm somebody who will go on a show and reiterate what people have testified about. It doesn't make me a scholar. It doesn't make me some kind of, engineer in this regard, but it makes me somebody who's out there letting people know what those people have said, what they've testified to, what they've written on a subpoena. again, they could be charged with a felony for lying on that. It's a punishable offense. I mean, that's somebody putting their money where their mouth is, man. So come on, man. In the comments, gift cards for Biden votes. So what exactly is not evidence? Project Veritas clearly shows violation of election laws. How is that not evidence of voter fraud? You're right. Evidence upon evidence upon evidence. Now, this is the trick, though. This is the language trick that people play. And we just have to know that that's what's going on. It's a subtle moving of the goalpost. They originally will say there's no, and there's a link, by the way, smartelections.us/dominion-ice. That is a video you can go and check out. It's in the comment thread on Paleocrat, so you can go check it out right now. But it's the game they play. It's the game they play where they're like, there's no evidence of fraud. And then you get gobbled up showing all of these different evidences all over the place. You're providing them like I do, shotgun blast every day, blam, 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 blam. And you're doing that. And then the result is, and this is the game the whole time. This is why I'm saying that Rudy should have loaded up the big hitters first. The ones that talk about ways that this can be done at a system level. Because ultimately, they've got us wrapped up in all this stuff, and everybody's coming up, and it's got a bazillion people in a bazillion different directions, making a bazillion different claims, and they can have a bazillion responses to each one. And it's especially easy when they hide from it. They close their eyes and close their ears. Makes it easy. But then they're going to shift it, because eventually you're going to be overwhelmed, and enough people will be out there, like the poll that was done recently, where even a decent number of Democrats are wondering, like, dude, did Biden steal this thing? That happens, and then it forces them to go where they wanted to go the entire time and to say, yeah, but it's not widespread. And we've just been roped along, man. We've just been roped along. And that's why I haven't focused too much on individual cases. I've shown them. But then we've gone into analysis from computers. What's the likelihood? How many ballots would have to be done in this period of time? How fast can these do it? How fast can these machines count it within a certain period of time? According to their own user manuals. And is that even possible? Or is it phony baloney? Those kinds of things. Or to find, I would include in a system-wide level evidence that we have of, for example, people who are delivering mail, going over multiple different state lines with ballots, who are now whistleblowers. Because you're now operating in a systemic way. You're operating in a way that's a web now. It's not just an isolated instance. And I'm not saying that the isolated ones aren't part of an overall scheme. I think Detroit Leaks demonstrated this. I think our coverage of the color revolution are spot on. It's not even a debate. And we get to the point where we're like, okay, so you got Trump, 74 million votes. Makes sense. You're seeing the packed out stadium. Obama, 69 million votes. That makes a lot of sense. Joe Biden, 80 million. 80 million. Nobody, and that's the thing, dude. People just simply aren't buying it anymore. And here's another reason why. Investigation of 100 ballot sample in Arizona finds 3%. It'd be a random sample. We're going to go ahead. Ballots were deemed fraudulent in favor of Joe Biden, and it resulted in a larger audit being granted. So they're just dipping their paws in it, man. Just dipping it in and saying, okay, we're gonna figure out how this works. We're gonna look at the many different ways that this works. And what did they find? 3%. You're like, dang, son. It definitely warranted it. Here we go. Gwinnett County admits that Dominion employee took data from election management system and filtered it on a laptop, which is against the rules. And the video of him, by the way, he's looking around, stands up, puts his arm, kind of rests his arm in an awkward place. There's a chair there, but he rests his arm there, blocking anybody looking with the camera. They can still see stuff, right? Because he had to move around a little bit. Then he looks all shady walking out, and he pockets the freaking, device, dude, the USB. It's uncanny, man. It's uncanny. Just one thing after another. And we showed the video yesterday. Won't even do it again. Let's see here. plugged into a laptop, manipulate the data, then palm the USB. He downloads data from the election management server onto a USB, inserts it into the external laptop, manipulates ballot scans in the file explorer, ejects the USB, palms it, distracts the people nearby, then suspiciously walks out of the room. That's great. That's great, man. Hey, you can take a look at his badge. And there he is. So we know who these people are. Again, man, if Trump's people were the ones doing this, the left would be out of their mind. The left would be out of their mind if Trump people were doing this. If Trump people were kicking out a bunch of Democrats in the middle of the night, shutting it down, kicking out all the Democrat poll watchers, kicking all of them out, making sure that they're far away. If there was audio leaks of training where Trump poll watchers and trainers, that they were teaching people all the tricks in order to make people feel that they voted, or to make sure that watchers can't come anywhere near, and if they dare to disobey, you call the cops, and everybody's laughing, and all the Trump people are giggling it up, and some Media Matters or some crap, someplace Vox ends up sharing all of those, and then you see over and over and over, you see UPS bringing ballots after they said they can't, or you have whistleblowers from the mail service saying that they went over multiple different state lines, bringing ballots, oftentimes to empty places where nobody was even there, and having to leave it. Chain of custody is toast, dude. Gone. If you saw Trump people getting rid of envelopes and there would be no way, and then you see Trump people saying there's no evidence of that, you guys would be out of your mind. I mean, be real, dude. Be real, man. That's just, it's a complete lack. And it's like a complete lack of empathy, almost as if they're like, you know what? Screw it. We don't even care anymore. We don't even care. It's what did I say earlier on an earlier episode? It's by any means necessary at this point. They just don't care. They're not taking the moral high road. Don't let them pretend that's what they're doing, because they're not. Now we are. We're taking the moral high road. I'll leave that there. The special counsel appointment blocked President Trump's ability to declassify documents. The truth is, the likely answer is yes. What a dumb move, dude. Well, it would be dumb. It'd be dumb if we actually believed for a second that it was done with pure intentions. But it's not. But this is still a plan. Okay? Many more things may be added. This is according to Conservative Treehouse. He said, as a direct result of the executive office of the president will be facing legal action, likely from unified Democrats and Republicans in the legislative branch. With that accepted, here is the most strategic approach. He should be declassifying all these documents and to present them without a single redaction. Trump needs to do it. All versions of the Carter Page FISA application. All the Bruce Orr's 302s filled out by the FBI. All of Bruce Orr's emails. All relevant documents pertaining to the supportive material within the FISA application. All supportive documents and materials provided by Bruce Orr to the FBI. All intelligence documents that were presented to the Gang of Eight in 2016 that pertain to the FISA application that was used against U.S. person Carter Page, including all intelligent documents that may not have been presented to the FISA court. All unredacted text messages and email content between Lisa Page and Peter Strzok on all devices. All unredacted text messages and email content between Lisa Page and former FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe. All communication between former CIA Director John Brennan and FBI Director James Comey that started the Operation Crossfire Hurricane. The full and unredacted April 2017 FISA Court 99-page opinion, written by presiding judge Rosemary Collier, outlining the compliance audit conducted by the NSA in 2016. Any and all documents that pertain to CIA and FBI activity against the incoming Trump administration. as well as any and all investigative documents currently controlled by U.S. Attorney John Durham as a result of his 2-year investigation. As well as, I don't know, anything else to be of value to the American people. Like everything on JFK. It's true. It needs to happen. It needs to happen. You know, if this is the way it's going to be, if this is the way it's going to be, that we can present all of these things, and yet, still have to endure. I mean, you can see the mutiny, by the way, in the Republican Party, and it's dividing it like crazy. It's dividing it like crazy. But with this mutiny in mind, you know, even what yesterday, Senator Lee, and in fact, all the Republicans, man, they totally sold us out. By the way, totally sold us out on high-tech jobs, big time. And they think that we're going to like it. They think that we like that brand. It's crazy. They really do believe that it was their idea. It was their values and this kind of rhino or old school Chamber of Commerce styled republicanism that really riled people up. There were a lot of people at the rallies. Oh, I mean, Trump was there. There were a lot of people, man, at the meet and greets. There was a lot of money being given. Yeah, Trump was there. But it was really about them, wasn't it, guys? But there's a civil war going on, even within the GOP, and I relish this thing. I say it needs to happen. We need to realize that this is Trump's party now. It's Trump's party now. And you can sit there and say, yep, you guys are a dying breed. You're a dying breed. And the idea that we're all just going to take a knee and go back to the good old days of what you thought were the good old days and play that Koch brother crap, play that Chamber of Commerce crap, George H.W. Bush crap. If you think that's what we're going back to, you got something coming, son. You have something coming. But he needs to release it all. Go nuclear, man. Go nuclear. Just release it all, man. He needs to release it all. And if he's got to go down there himself and walk in, dude, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? He needs to go in. He needs to take care of business himself. He needs to lay it on the line. Otherwise, you know what? We're going to be stuck for a very, very, very long time with all these mysteries. And I can promise you right now, it ain't coming out. It ain't coming out. We were completely head faked with the Huber investigation. Complete 100% head fake. Some people really believed it. Some people were like, oh my gosh, man, it's the plan. He didn't interview jack crap. He didn't interview anybody. It's so offensive, man. It's so offensive. And, you know, it's easy to feel helpless. It's easy to be like, well, guys, are we just going back? Are we going back to being beautiful losers? It was this massive victory, this massive triumph. A red wave, for all intents and purposes, a red wave. You can see, and that's the other thing. You look and you say, the Democrats, I wish they would just think about this for a second. It's crazy. It's how you know it's all out war and that we can't be playing tiddlywinks anymore. Or otherwise, you know, what good intentions and the angels on our shoulder begging us otherwise. We have to realize where we are right now. It's all out war because the Democrats can't even fathom. They're unwilling to even process how they would feel if whether or not they would think there was fraud. All of the things I've already said. But on top of that, if the entire country all over the place had this massive blue wave all down ballot in places that were never even imagined that would be the case, defying polls left and right. But the guy that was wildly popular at the top, which is not Biden, right? So imagine it was Obama. Imagine it was Obama. And he's going against a guy who's getting turnouts and is as messed up and boring and terrible and confused and disabled as Joe Biden, but running as a Republican. And somehow that guy wins. But down ballot, the whole stream loses. On the other side, down ballot down ballot wins. Okay, so down ballot wins for the Democrats, and Obama would end up losing. And yet on the Republican side, or, the other side, they're losing left and right, but they're a super boring guy who's got disabilities and crap and nobody likes. And he's a joke. That guy somehow wins. They would say, this is so fake, it's unbelievable. And I would say, I know, believe me. Believe me, I know. In the comments right here, CF says, voting machines aren't supposed to be on the internet to safeguard data and input. And yet all these machines were clearly connected to the internet. Dude, they were, yes. In fact, there's a diagram on one of the subpoenas. One of the subpoenas here in Michigan, man, has an entire diagram of it. A guy who used to work with NASA and stuff. Knows what he's talking about. I'm starting to think that the government is corrupt. Yeah, I'm glad you put an LOL on there. I'm glad you put an LOL on there. Another comment. There's clearly a two-tier justice system. Now there's a two-tier election system. If this isn't stopped now, that technically nullifies the USA as a democratic republic, and it makes it into a sham. And the thing is, it may have actually been true for a long time. I mean, these shenanigans, man. This could have been going on for a minute. One of the listeners says, kids woke up from morning nap. I got to get kids out on a walk. Thank you for your time. Have a great day. Signing out from Wisconsin. Yeah. That's good. But it's not just the election, man. It's COVID. There's a great article over here. James Corbett over at CorbettReport.com. He says, in 2016, a 15-year-old high school student from Albuquerque, New Mexico, won third place in the Intel Science and Engineering Fair for a project on slowing the spread of an infectious pathogen during a pandemic emergency. Using a computer simulation that she developed with the help of her father, she argued that in order to slow the spread of the disease, governments should implement school shutdowns, keep kids at home, and enforce social distancing. Incredibly, that third place high school science fair project can be tied directly to the lockdown policies being implemented by governments around the world today. Because the father that she developed her simulation with was no average doting dad, but a senior researcher at Sandia National Laboratories, who at the time was working on pandemic emergency response plans for the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. His proposal to implement school shutdowns and, if need be, workplace shutdowns in the event of a pandemic emergency was developed at least in part in response to his daughter's high school project. Unbelievable. Now, those advocating for lockdowns have seen the destruction and death that those policies have wrought this year, and we're living through it right now. Deprived of livelihoods, forced into grinding poverty. There's an undeniable truth here that if you're advocating for lockdowns, you are advocating for some portion of the population to be consigned to death. And you know what? That's one of those things where it's inevitable no matter what. But I'm glad that we're beginning to say it too. Is to say that the conversation, I said this early on, is that people don't like this conversation, but the truth is, risk analysis, we make it all the time. We know the statistics for death pre-COVID for things like pneumonia and the flu and other things. We know what it is, and we know what it is for people of color. We know what it is for people who have cancer or diabetes or the elderly. We know all of those numbers. Now, not everybody knows them. People weren't as focused on it as they are now. But the truth is that we knew them, and we continued to live in spite of what we knew. In fact, most people lived so well, in fact, without thinking about it, that they never, even processed it once. And even now that they're processing stuff with COVID, they're not thinking it through to say, even if magically somehow COVID were to disappear, kind of like the flu has. Kind of like the flu, it disappeared. COVID shows up, the flu's gone. The flu's gone. Nobody's got the flu anymore. It's really low numbers. We're not even going to report very much of that. And so you don't talk about the flu anymore. It's just COVID now. It's a great replacement. It's a big replacement, guys. Okay? And they said that was a conspiracy theory. But the thing is we knew what it was, and yet these individuals aren't processing that even if we had some magical thing where somehow coronavirus went away and it was no longer an issue, those issues behind us, those would still be there. And those are really big things. They don't even factor them in. They don't even treat them like it's an ethical consideration, but it has been the entire time. But the consideration and the conclusion that society came to was that you're not going to shut down everything because of this. And that steps are to be taken. We encourage certain customs and courtesies. We encourage certain rules regarding cleanliness when it comes to places where you work. Things pertaining to delivery of goods, different services, food, as well as personal hygiene. We've encouraged it as part of your schooling. And so we've encouraged it. We've encouraged and taught people how to wash their hands. In fact, we made certain amenities. We've made certain necessities in life. We've made them readily accessible. Even at gas stations. It's everywhere. But it was always back down to producers of goods and providers of services and individuals. David Nabarro says this. He said, I want to say it again. We in the World Health Organization, and it's months too late, but it's WHO, do not advocate lockdowns as a primary means of control of the virus. We may well have a doubling of world poverty by early next year. Bravo. Bravo. And these, by the way, the same people that talk about how poverty impacts lifespan, how it impacts flourishing, or the inability for someone to flourish, the increase in crime, the increase in drug abuse, overdose, suicide. They're really good about pointing out those numbers. They prioritize it, in fact. And yet when it comes to this, it's like it's not even on their radar. It's a magical thought. It's a magical thought that somehow, what is it going to do, stay static? It's going to be stable, guys. Everybody's at home. People are losing their jobs left and right, but you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Your marriage will be good. That's not going to cause any problems. Your business will be fine. You won't have to shut down. Believe me. You'll just, you'll be okay. They were wrong. Like so many other things. It's like I did a segment on one of my podcasts, an audio podcast. You can find it on my YouTube channel. But I did one, I think it was called Scorched Earth, When Tolerance Goes Too Far. And in that, I talk about why we should not believe them anymore. And it's a sad thing to say, look, over and over and over again, they've just flat out either been wrong, and we've been proven right from the beginning. And I go through a long list of things that when these debates first began, the left was like, no, this isn't going to happen. Oh, it's a slippery slope. Oh, it's a bunch of fallacies. We never do that. How dare you? Blah, 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 blah. And here we are now. Lo and behold. And it's because they have the escape hatch. And this is why you can't trust them. Because they fall in an escape hatch. The same thing they do with science all the time. When they'll bash you. They'll bash you for opposing lockdowns as a primary means of control. And then all of a sudden, World Health Organization comes out. And then some of them might be like, well, that's right. And they treat that like now that's the new dogma. Or like masks. The masks in the beginning. Don't wear masks. Don't wear them. And it was Fauci. Fauci going on TV. And then later on saying, well, you got to wear masks. Maybe you should even wear goggles. And then later admitting he lied insisting he lied. I don't want to say admit because I don't know which one he lied on. I don't believe him at all. I don't believe him at all. Get him out of here, man. He's got to go. But, you sit there and you're just like, they have the escape hatch that they say, well, we came to more knowledge of this and now we have the exact opposite position. And it was the one that you accused us that we would eventually have. And that this was the slippery slope that we mocked you for having and the fallacies. And we got all personal about it. Yeah, we understand. But you know what? We're right now. And now this is the new thing we're going to shove down your throat. And you're like, dude, we knew it was coming. We've said it all along. It shows itself over and over and over again. It's a pattern of history, man. It's a crazy thing. Yeah, David says, this is terrible. Ghastly global catastrophe, actually. And so we really do appeal to all the world leaders. Stop using lockdowns as your primary control method. And by the way, do you guys remember the episode where I talked about the whistleblower from the World Health Organization that specifically outed that first and said and showed the internal stuff to say that they don't even support that? And this is why, leaked a whole bunch of information online. We talked about it. How long ago did we talk about that? But this is what it's creating.
Oh!
Get away
Put
from
your
me.
fucking mask on.
Sorry for the
you
swear
can
words.
walk
This
away from
person's
me right now,
obviously a
sir.
crazy person.
Put your mask on.
Get away from me,
Put it
please.
on. Does it bother anybody else that she doesn't have to wear a mask that we all do?
Just go away. Stay 6 feet away from me then.
No.
Get away from me.
No.
No. I'm not going to get 6 feet away from you. I'm going to get in your face. You wouldn't do that if she smelled like poop. Why would you do that if you think that she's going to carry around something that's going to murder you? Because it's not even about that, you idiot. It's not even about that. You know what it is? Control. You're a control freak, weirdo. You're a control freak.
Yeah.
Please get away from me right now.
No.
You don't need to come near me.
She has it on her damn hand.
Get away from me. Walk away from me, sir. Please get away from me.
Yeah, can you hear all the people around? They're like, dude, there's children around. There's children around. Yeah, but they don't care. He's a control freak. He's a cultist. He's a cultist, man. It's super bad. And people are sick and tired of this. Democrat Austin mayor urged people to stay home as he vacationed in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, with family members and guests. Ain't that a thing, you piece of crap? Ain't that a thing? Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Why is it always you guys? Why is it always you? Man, what a loser. Another day, another Democrat hypocrite. It's true, man. Over and over and over. And why is that? Why is that? He's urging his constituents to stay home, to slow the spread. Blah, 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 blah. It's all the catchphrases. Blah, 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 blah. It's ridiculous. Do you guys even, I don't want to hear these guys anymore. They're like, oh, this guy's talking on TV. I heard in the comments. Apparently, Whitler is going to be speaking at 1:30. The evil Empress of Michigan. Great. Can't wait not to watch it. I'm sick of her face. I'm sick of it, man. I'm done with it, dude. He said, we need to stay home if you can. We need to keep the numbers down. Now is not the time to relax. Oh, yeah. Well, you go and relax in Mexico. You go and relax. He confirmed that after hosting his daughter's wedding, he vacationed in Mexico last month with a group of people. They happened in early November, just as top health officials began urging families not to gather with others. Again, these are like insider trading people, man. These are people that if it wasn't after the lockdown, well, it was after they began urging people. Didn't matter. They knew it was coming. They're like, oh, we better hurry up when we're going to do this. It's a big plot. They benefit from it. He was in Mexico on vacation with 8 people, including immediate and extended family. 2 days earlier, they hosted a wedding and reception in Hotel St. Cecilia, a South Congress Avenue hotel, for his daughter with 20 guests. At the same time, Austin was under Stage 3 guidelines, which suggest no gathering of more than 10 people. What a fraud. You know what I heard? What did it say? What did it say? That he was saying that he wanted some normalcy, him and his staff, just to, be able to get away and relax and kind of feel like life was normal again. Dude, isn't that something everybody wants? Isn't that something that every single person wants? And you don't let them have it. Why? Because you're a monster. You are an evil, diabolical, satanic monster. People should beware of you. People should make your life extremely uncomfortable. I hope they do. I hope they're on you like a fly on crap. I hope they make you really uncomfortable. You're the kind of person that doesn't mind ruining lives all the while, and I have to imagine that you love it. What, were you feeling guilty when you were out there under the sun? Were you sitting there crying into a pillow? I wish I wasn't doing this. Or were you enjoying it? Did you have a mojito? Did you have some tostadas? What did you have, homeboy? I hope you choke on it. Your career's going to choke on it. You're going to be shoving that crap down your throat for the remainder of your career. We got your number, son. And it's on like Donkey Kong. CDC Director Dr. Robert Redfield calls again for in-school learning. See, here's where I've actually said multiple times, I've said, man, you know, it's one of those things. Like I got in a conversation with this guy. He really doesn't like me. He was accusing me of trying to spread false information in an intentional attempt to have a lot of people dead. Right? I'm like, dude, I definitely don't believe in that. I'm not part of the, you know, environmentalist or, you know, not part of that cult. The sky is falling. We need to lower the numbers. I'm out there making more children. I'm lamenting the fact that children are dying. I go out and talk about having clean air and clean water. I believe in that. I'm a land person. I believe that people should emphasize and have a balance in our society so that we're not just a bunch of roads with, you know, smog all over the place and a bunch of lights and radiation all over the place. I don't believe in that. Okay. You know, but in that conversation, he was saying that he believes in, he questioned my credentials, right? It's one of those things, well, I don't, you know, you're not a doctor kind of thing. I'm like, dude, I'm citing doctors. I am citing institutions. I cited the AAP. I cited Harvard. I cited some of the biggest children's hospitals and most reputable children's hospitals in the country. I could have mentioned the World Health Organization. In fact, at this point, if somebody's out there doing lockdown as a primary mechanism, then guess what, man? You are in violation of the WHO. I wonder if you're going to get censored. Doubt it. Doubt it. Because we know that any time that governors like Whitmer disagree and go on and say, yeah, I know that WHO says this, or I know CDC says that, but we disagree, she's not getting challenged for fake information. It's a joke. So here he is. But this is the problem with that. When you say, well, I base all my opinions on this organization. Because number one, that organization could be wrong. You're putting all of your epistemological eggs into one basket. That's not smart, man. That's not smart. That's why you have peer review, by the way. That's what that's about. I mean, you know, you may have a lot of pros. That's really great. That gives you some credibility. But you can look at a history of a group too and say, well, you know, they're not always right. In fact, sometimes they're really, really wrong. And then you have a situation where there would be a difference of opinion, where they would say, well, you know, you may say, well, over here you have organizations that say, well, it's a really good thing that children are in school because that's why they can have such a viral load and yet not have symptoms. One of the reasons why is because of school. And so you have these professionals saying to go to school. And then you've got this where all of a sudden he changes his mind. Well, now we gotta do he calls again for in-school learning. That's great because guess what? We've been saying that. So if I cite the CDC and you say, well, I cite the World Health Organization and we're just two ordinary guys, you can't pretend that you're like that's a greater authority. Oh, well, you know what? Mine's better. And you can't pretend that you're not making that judgment call on your own. At some point, when it comes to making a decision over what you're going to believe and who you're going to believe and why you believe that and not another, that's going to be a buck stopping somewhere. And eventually it's going to land at your feet and you're going to make that call. And let's hope that it's actually informed and not just simply, you know, an authority bias. I mean, otherwise, good job, man. You have fallen, out of the kiddie pool and right into the deep end of logical fallacies. It's ridiculous, man. And it makes people start feeling a little bit like coronavirus is a joke. Or that it's just part of a great reset. I know people who say, well, it's a hoax. I don't believe that. I believe it is a real thing. I have a lot of criticisms about it. I don't believe that masks are magical. I believe that kids ought to be in school. I believe people should be back to work. I believe we should be pretty robust about making sure that things are sanitary and clean. I don't think we need to go, down the path of people who are, what's his name, man, from America's Got Talent? What's that guy's name? The bald guy that's like, always washing his hands all the time. You don't want to be that guy. You don't want to go down that road, but at the same time, you got to be smart. If you're sitting there pulling a Joe Biden and come into your hand, and then you're walking around shaking everybody's hand, dude, there's a possibility that your germs are going all over the place. You might be spreading some sickness. But we've known that for a long time, which is weird that he never figured that out. It's like, dude, cough into your arm, man. You cough into your hand, you're kind of a little bit gross. It's already got enough germs and bacteria on there. That's good. That's good. You're floating around with that. And yeah, Howie Mandel. Yeah, we don't need to be Howie Mandel. A germaphobe. We don't need to be that. But because it's so ridiculous, and because of all the hypocrisy, we start to feel as though COVID is maybe a little bit like this. And I got it up yesterday, and I thought, this is perfect. And because, look, in history, are we really going to look back and it's going to be like this thing? I'll let you watch it. It's really good. There's part 1 and part 2. Part 1 shows the crisis, shows the problem. Part 2 shows a medical doctor. And that medical doctor, he was on the money. I mean, he he had his finger on the pulse, dude. He knew what was going on. And, you may not have actually heard of this. If not, it's part of a New World Order cover-up. It may be brought back out later. And if it is, don't blame me for, predictive programming. That's what I am, dude. I'm part of the scheme. This is all predictive programming, In a couple months, dude, this is what you're going to be seeing all over the place. It's going to be Hollywood films, dude, about this. Maybe some puppet shows, claymation stuff. All right, guys. Man, my voice is toast. I got to drink some water, give my voice a break. We're only going to be on for about 10, 15 more minutes after this. And I got another video to show anyway, man. It's just going to be fun at the end. I'm skipping over a bunch of stuff. So here we go. Here's the video. Tell me what you think.
My name's Jimmy Colston. I like doing it, and it likes me doing it. Well, when you just get a little, whoa! You just get a little hit on that. Man, that's good. You want to go jogging or something?
Yeah, Ailey came down to tell me my mic was on. I know it was. I know it was. But I thank you for it. I thank you for it. Oh, no. Where's part 2? Where's part 2? Okay, here it is. So alkaline addiction in America. Alkaline addiction. It's taking over, guys. It's taking over, man. You saw the kind of person it affects. It's a serious problem. In fact, now that we're in lockdown, it may be something that is spreading all over the place. May dwarf these numbers. This was the original rollout, okay? This was the original rollout. This was the trial run, kind of like what was going on with old Bill Gates and the trial run, or like, 9/11. And so, this is a rollout. And so this is what you guys are in for. I mean, and again, I'm only showing this, to not to engage in predictive programming, but to let you know what's coming. And in fact, maybe COVID has softened us up for accepting this kind of a thing. So don't believe it, guys. Don't believe it. It looks compelling. It looks compelling. It looks like something that is totally 100% legit. But you got to believe me. You got to believe me. It's not as widespread as people think. It's not as widespread. Believe it or not. Believe it or not, we're not as widespread. So here we go. Here's part 2.
this is an energy crisis unlike we've ever seen before. It has penetrated virtually everything. I wouldn't be surprised if it started making babies. If you know people who use batteries on a regular basis and who buy them, who go to the store and buy batteries, okay, there is a good possibility that they may not only be abusing batteries, but they may be abusing others with those batteries. But somebody who's addicted to batteries, they've got some gastric problems, and they need to bypass it. He's obviously not in his right mind, but he's not drunk. I don't know drunk people or people on regular drugs, and I have studied drugs a lot. I have studied them for a long time. But the thing is, you do not see people like that go,
I told you. So you've been warned. You have been warned, guys. It's coming, dude. This is just a rollout. It's just a rollout. In the comments, laugh out loud. Not enough people use 9-volt batteries. It's probably true. But you got to be suspicious, dude. If you're seeing people and they're looking all, janky and stuff and all jazzed out and they're buying 9-volt batteries, they may be at home abusing them and maybe abusing others with those batteries. And that doctor, dude, that doctor was pretty fat. What's up with that doctor? You see that triple chin? Dude, who was that guy? He had a nice voice. But that hair, man. That hair. I don't know if I trust a doctor dude with hair like that. It looks like that UFO guy. Right? What was that guy's name with the crazy UFO? Yeah. Let's see. Someone asked Paleocrat, what does that mean? That is a word that I created. It's a fusion of two different words. Paleo, which would indicate ancient or old, and crat, which is used like aristocrat, democrat, stuff like that. Republicrat, that is order or authority. So it's the ancient order, the old authority, and it's the idea of tradition. It's the idea of looking at history, looking at our lives and our ideas through the lens of history and even tradition. And it was inspired. I created that word back in the early 2000s, and I created it because I didn't like. I had issues with some parts of paleoconservatism at the time, and I didn't like libertarianism. I thought it was not only ridiculous, but I thought just from a branding perspective, I'm like I don't fit the bill necessarily with either of those. So I created a term. I said I'm a paleocrat. And I started using it. It became a moniker. It just became a nickname. And I used it on television. It was a situation when I was co-hosting a TV show. And my co-host was late. And so we ended up putting stuff together. Putting stuff together for like what to do in the situation where I'm by myself. So we switched around all the cameras and acted like I was on radio and we were just recording it, kind of like looking similar to this, but in a TV studio. And it looked pretty awesome, man. And we called it Paleocrat. I think it was just called Paleocrat Radio. And I didn't like the ring of that, so I said, why not just name it Paleo Radio? And so I named it Paleo Radio. And yes, you brought fun fact. Jeremiah also invited the paleo diet. Invented, man. And no, it's not a fun fact. It's a terrible thing. It's not a terrible thing. I've tried it. I did the paleo diet for a brief minute, and I like some of the snacks and stuff. I like some of the snacks that they have. And so I tried it though. I prefer keto to it, but no. The thing is I was using that moniker in the early days of the internet. I mean, early days where people are on, some of the earliest days of YouTube and stuff before real big name people came on and everything. There were like no colleges or institutions and stuff like that. No celebrities, no, not very many bands ever. So it was just kind of it was vlogging really. And I used that as a moniker for that, different websites. And Paleo Radio is the AM/FM radio show, live show that I hosted for many years of my life. Until after I voted for Donald Trump, and I was relieved from that job by voting for Donald Trump, and so that's what ended up happening in my opposition to the Me Too movement. So because of my opposition to the Me Too movement, because of my opposition to Planned Parenthood, and because of my vote, ultimately, it was when management found that out that I voted for Donald Trump that it was over. So, and in the end, this is the last thing I'll say about COVID. Every prisoner, this is taken from a Victorian, a website, an official government website about prisons, the history of prisons in England. And right here is a picture from it. They're all wearing masks, right? They're walking around. They're all isolated. But the description was what was amazing, okay? And it said this, and I got this over on Telegram. I forget which group shared this, but it said every prisoner had a cell to himself with adequate washing facilities, which present-day inmates of overcrowded prisons might envy. But they would not envy the prison regime, known as the separate system. It involved depriving a prisoner of all human contact, shutting him up in his cell except for brief exercise periods, masking his face, and forbidding him to speak. This compulsory silence was believed to lead to moral regeneration as the wretched prisoner contemplated his moral failings. There were, it had to be admitted, quite a few suicides. I think there's so many parallels with that, with what's going on in our society. I'll talk about these later. Because people are rising up and they've had it, like this guy, like this dude. Let's see.
Where were these people when Black Lives Matter and Antifa were burning down our city? Where were they? Where were they? Where were they? Where were they?
And this is a huge area. I won't show any more of that. You can see, though, this is the crowd. Staten Island, ABC 7 is showing the crowd. I think they pan out here. And you can begin to see, I mean, this is the... Oh, man, is it a bar in New York? What is it, man? He refused to shut down. He's calling it a autonomous zone. And they've had it. And people are rising up. And this is what the government has to realize. Same thing with this. They want me to go down and be quiet and never hear from me again. I'm not gonna put up with it. It's time to rise up. Shut it all down or don't shut any of us down. That's the only way to get control of the virus. Like, this is a guy who says it's not fair that these massive corporations are able to continue. And yet, everyday mom and pop shops, right? The Johnny Q. Sally Sue folks on Main Street, they got to shut it down. Their livelihoods are toast. All the while, these billionaires, these global fat cats, are just raking in the money. Unprecedented amounts of money. It's the biggest corporate bailout anyone has ever seen. Most corporate welfare that the world has ever seen. We're seeing it right now. And it's grotesque. And there's a revolt at hand. Which is why you've got even, right here, Timothy Gordon, Fauci's a fraud. Open your business. Go to church. Buy weapons and ammo. Read the Constitution. Recite the first 2 paragraphs of the Declaration. Say your rosary. And appeal to heaven. I love that guy, by the way. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Yeah, we'll talk about all this stuff tomorrow. They're so sick of it. They're so sick of it, and people are tired of it because it's the Republicans, too. This is what the GOP is doing while no one's looking. In a year where millions of people are forced into unemployment by government and a global pharma takeover, breaking. Senator Mike Lee's visa giveaway just passed the Senate with unanimous consent. Hashtag America Last. They're sick of it. Nick Fuentes says our GOP-controlled Senate, including the 2 incumbent Georgia Republicans involved in the upcoming runoff election, has just given big tech a nearly limitless number of green cards for foreign workers and forced the removal of Confederate names from military bases. Well, it's great. Good job, guys. Good job. Your priorities are really in line. We can see that you guys, the 90s are calling. The early 2000s are calling. They want their political theory back. They want their cultural theory back. It's a joke. And yet, what do they fail to do? Defund Planned Parenthood, defund sanctuary cities, allocate funds for a border wall, restrict mass immigration, protect the cultural legacy of America, and defend President Trump from election fraud. Why should any Republican vote for the GOP to keep the Senate? I know that there are arguments that people can make and say, look, you're wanting to get rid of the good because it's not perfect. I get it. At the same time, voting for you is not a default setting. It's just not. It is something that says you represent me, you reflect me, you do things that make me want to vote for you. to ensure that either you get in power or you retain the power that you have. But if you act however you want and you come back to me and tell me the reason I got to vote for you is because, you know, you're only 90% scumbag compared to 98% scumbag on the Democratic ticket, I'm going to give you the middle finger and I'm going to go home. And people are going to do this. The GOP's got to wake up. If they think, I mean, look, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's self-deportation. They're deporting themselves from they're deporting themselves from politics because they think that they can shovel that horse manure down our throat that we revolted against by voting for Donald J. Trump. It's la la land. What's wrong with these people? They got real mental issues, man. It's amazing, though, isn't it? And they think they own you. And this is the thing. They will guilt trip you. Oh, my gosh, we need to do this. We need to do that. And look, they're right. They're right. If we don't control the Senate, look at what's going to happen. I get it, guys. I get it, guys. But I also believe that sometimes a group has to simply be disciplined in order to actually make changes that they need to make. But the discipline would have to be loud and clear. And I think that we're beginning to see that discipline starting to take form. Because what you're having here, look at last night. Look at last night. You've got Lady Kraken, right? You've got some of those Trump lawyers up on the stage, right? Not with the official Trump team. Not with the official Trump team. But down in Georgia. And they're rallying up the people. And they're actually out there. They're the ones putting on that MAGA hat. They're the ones out there defending Donald Trump. They're the ones out there pumping up that base. Those Republicans. And they're making very clear that the GOP on an institutional level doesn't own us. It's the same thing. What did I say when I went into the GOP? I'm a delegate. When I went into the GOP, I told them, I'm here because I like your boss. I'm here because I voted for him. I'm not here because of Jeb Bush. I'm not here because of Marco Rubio. I'm not here because of any of those guys, Chris Christie. I'm not here because of the influence of George W. or Weekly Standard or even Fox News. I'm not here because of that. And you want to know what they said? They said that there's tons and tons of people who've said the same thing. Bigger numbers than ever. People coming over who weren't Republicans before, who were independents or who just simply didn't care. And all of a sudden, boom, they were activated when that man came down that escalator. They were activated. Good luck. Good luck trying to ride this wave with Jeb-styled Republicanism. Good luck, man. Good luck trying to do it with Mike Lee-styled Republicanism. Good luck. Donald Trump earned our vote. Donald Trump earned our vote. We believed in those ideas, those policies, and those values that he embodied, that he was willing to put himself out there for on a political level, economic level, religious level, cultural level, the level of mass media, on each and every one of these. You think we're going to go back to wanting to watch you on Sunday morning shows talk about the Gang of Eight and how we need to get into comprehensive immigration reform that doesn't involve any kind of extreme vetting or wall? You're out of your freaking mind. You're out of your mind. You're stupid. You are stupid. You don't know. You don't know us, man. You don't know us. And yes, I like Trump better than Reagan. I was asking in the comments. Yeah. Bethany says, I will not be part of this corrupt system or the people. And that's, they want you to play the game. They're like, look, it's been pageantry all along, don't you know? It's been a big old-fashioned puppet show. It's like Sesame Street, but you know, it's on C-SPAN. We're sick of that crap. We didn't vote these people in to get Sid the Science Kid. We didn't do that. And yeah, the truth is, look, and I'm not dogging Reagan. I'm not dogging Reagan. Reagan had certain skills and qualities that I wish Trump had. And vice versa. They're great in their own right. And they both made certain mistakes on who they allowed in their administration. Both of them resolved in their own way to drain the swamp. Reagan with the idea of getting out Council on Foreign Relations and trilateral people. And the same cabal ended up wrecking both. The cabal that was formed and made beefy and strong during the times of the Bush family. Whether George H.W. or George W. That's where they found their mold. That's where they found that cast that made them who they are. That was their ambition and their ideas. And both of them were brought in. And both of them made it really difficult. It's unfortunate. It's just one of these things, man. It's one of these things. And yes, the thing is, you know, in the comments, man, one of the guys says, I'm way more populist nationalist than conservative. 100%. In fact, conservatism, strictly speaking, is a dying brand. You want to see where conservatism is as an ism? You want to see where that is? It's the rag that's on the floor that used to be called the Weekly Standard. It's Fox News that's draining, that's bleeding out, bleeding to death right now, being overtaken in key spots with key demographics by MSNBC and CNN. It's the National Review that was never Trump to begin with, and this time around is taking a knee for Joe Biden. That's conservative ink, man. That's conservative ink. They were never Trumpers. And how many of them were grifters, dude? How many of them were grifters? Jumping on board, riding that wave because they knew, they said, look, if Trump has a 98% approval rating in his own party, and my base is all of that party, then I'm going to need to, you know, start maybe not being so never Trump anymore. But we saw it, and we could see past it. That's why I dog on Charlie Kirk. That's why I dog on Ben Shapiro. That's why I dog on Glenn Beck. You know, I mean, look, they've got good things to say on a handful of stuff. I'm not going to deny. But at the same time, you look and you say, dude, it ain't no surprise that you ain't out there. It's no surprise that the people who are those patriots. Like the rally in Michigan. Like Ali Alexander. Alex Jones. Nick Fuentes. People going around. The Proud Boys. People going around to these rallies all the time. You know, the Patriot community, again, so many people. Everyday folks. The people who've been banned. The deplorables. Those are the ones that stayed true. And to be really honest, I don't think Trump did nearly as good. I'm being generous saying this. Nearly as good as he ought to have done to stand up for us. And yet, we kept going. And the reason why, and this is what people don't understand, because the Georgia line here is a big deal. Because Donald Trump is all in trying to make sure that the senators come back in. And yet his base, while they're wearing the MAGA hat and fighting tooth and nail to keep him in, they are expressing, maybe for the first time in a loud way, that Trumpism is bigger than the man. Trumpism is just the name for who we've been and for what we've believed our entire lives. It's another name for Samuel Francis's beautiful losers. Irredeemables. We believed it the whole time. In fact, it's just us. And we've now seen it. We've had our complaints. We've seen a vehicle. We're grateful for it. We're fighting tooth and nail for it. He will be a hero forever in our books. But at the same time, we all know we're all going to die someday. And one day, Donald Trump ain't going to be here. In fact, he might even be gone, coming up real soon. So what do we do? Do we sit there and go, well, I guess it's over, guys. It was good while it lasted. No. No. We are organizing unlike anything ever before. We are so powerful. You look at those rallies. It's easy. They're called Trump rallies, and it's true. But look at the number. Look at the people. Those people went out there wearing that red hat, identifying with that, even when everybody hated them. Even when they could lose their jobs, they could lose their friends, they sat there and said, we believe this because it was who they were. And for the first time, they were able to vote for somebody that didn't mean that they had to hang up their values or check their brain out at the door. Yeah, Clay in the comment, never Trumpers or Bill Kristol types. He's a hack. Yeah, they're over at MSNBC now. Look at all these never Trumpers. Look at all of them. And you say, the history of these people too. The history of these people, it's where they came from. They were serpents the entire time. But it gets roped in. And you know what? Here's the thing. You know why conservatism in the end of the day is going to fail? Is because conservatism at a default level, conservatism is the idea that we will inevitably fly off the cliff, but we are going to try to pump the brakes a decent amount of times so that we can enjoy the ride for as long as we can. It's preserving little bits here, preserving little bits there, until it incrementally gets to a point where you can jump ship and say that that's the new conservative thing. Take, for example, you can see this in the Federal Reserve. I mean, how many people in the conservative movement anymore are talking about getting rid of the Federal Reserve? They want power over it now. That's it. They want power over it. Same thing with public schools. They just wanted power over it. That's all they wanted. They wanted to make sure that they were the ones providing the education and everything else. But the whole idea, they'd scrapped it. In fact, that became a conservative position. Getting involved in the economy, getting involved in all this stuff that traditionally populist groups said that you have to have really beefy and strong intermediate institutions, stuff that's closer to home, stuff that's honestly closer to the heart and way far away from that swamp. They wanted the power. They liked the glitz. They liked the glamour. And all the while, they're in a limousine, drinking champagne, living it up, pumping the brakes every once in a while and say, oh, slow it down. We need to acclimate everybody because it's fate. We're inevitably going to find ourselves there. But a populist line is traditional. And it says we're not sitting there believing that we're on some inevitable path that it's like, well, I think the Dems might be right about this, but it's going to take time. People have to acclimate. Little itsy bits. And instead it takes the opposite position and says, this is conservatism that says tradition has been built up over generation after generation. And that's why conservatives are willing to go out and eradicate the past. They're willing to take down names of schools. They're willing to take down the rebel flag. They're willing to take down all the statues and monuments. They don't mind. Just don't do it all at one time. Whereas the populists would say, no way. Those are landmarks. These are things that, good or bad, these are things that we keep up, even if only as a reminder of who we were and where we came from, who the heroes were that helped to get us here, as imperfect as they are. They sold us out, though, guys. So I'm so happy. I am so happy that we are in a day and age where that brand of conservatism, Conservative Inc., where that brand is just castrated. It's an illusion. It's a mirage of power right now. And we can't allow that mirage. Let them play that game. Let them play that game. We have more important things to do. We have to organize because we're late to the game. That's what happens when you're Johnny Q, Sally Sue. We're late to the game. We've been doing things that actually matter. Things that are filled with integrity and purpose and true compassion. Godly stuff, righteous stuff, man. But now we're organizing. Now we're starting to see leaders rise up. We're starting to see people. And that's going to require the leaders that are rising up. It's going to require a standard of excellence from them. And not just in the brain. They ought to be smart. They have to be they have to be smart people. By educated, I don't mean going and getting some, crazy degree from a propaganda factory. Liberal arts is a real education. It's powerful, well-rounded. It's made amazing men and women, Renaissance people. We got to get back to that because they have to realize the complexity of the game that they're getting involved in. They have to understand things like optics. They have to understand that. They have to be familiar. I contend they have to be familiar with Machiavelli. Because you have to know, again, what I say all the time. You have to learn to play the cards you're dealt, and you have to dance with who you brought or who dragged you to the dance. Because that dance floor, there's people out there right now, and those people are fighting tooth and nail, and you have to understand how this thing works. You have to be clever. And you have to be a person of prayer, on your knees, realizing that all of the things that you see in the swamp, all the things that you hate, it didn't always begin that way. It didn't always begin that way. But the glitz and the glamour, the power, the fame, the fortune, all of that, the access, all of this stuff, it's so tantalizing. It's so tempting. You have to be righteous. You must be righteous. James says, I want Trump to go full Caesar mode and cross the Rubicon. Dude, I agree. Populism wins, is according to Clay. Dude, good to see you, by the way, buddy. Good to see you. Populism wins, not Bushism. How do we make America great again? No more Bush, no more Clinton. Never, ever, ever again. Bush and his New World Order crap ruined everything that Reagan accomplished the prior 8 years, and it did it in 2. And the Republics and never Trumpers want that garbage back. Thank God I am a registered conservative now. Adios GOP. Pile on rhinos is what those garbage pail kids are. Dude, hey, I love you, man. You're awesome, dude, and always have been. So, all right, I'm going to play this video because I said I would, and this is how we're closing out the show. So I'm going to actually step out. It's a funny story. We've talked a lot about politics. I'm really grateful for all that. You guys are amazing. And I'm excited, in fact, about where we go from here. Because we have to begin putting together ideas and putting together plans and networks, communities, to bolster the good that has been accomplished, to learn from the negative things, the missed opportunities and other stuff like that, to not just get grumpy about it, but to say, what do we need to learn from that? What is it that was done wrong that could have been done differently? And what is required? Like, how, what even gets you in that world where you're qualified for that, to where you would be a reasonable person to pick up, and that you could be entrusted rightfully with bearing a significant amount of power? Because that's what we're talking about. And not just at a federal level. I'm talking local, man. We need Trumpism all over the place. You need to be in the cities. You need to be in your counties. You need to be in your states. And yes, we need to be at a federal level. We need to. But we have to do it right. And there's so much that we can learn from. The good things and the bad. And so I'm excited. I look forward to this, and I say it doesn't matter. That's why I'm like, dude, it doesn't matter how this plays out. I mean, it does in some ways. But ultimately speaking, I've said this a bazillion times, our agenda is much bigger than that. Because we serve the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. And that trajectory of his kingdom is without end. No matter what happens in 2020 or 2022 or 2024, just simply doesn't matter. Because in the end, Christ is victorious over all. And we are his ambassadors. All right, everybody. I'm going to play this video. I said that I would. It's funny. Okay, and it is a video about I don't know how long it is, but I promised I would do it because we talked about cologne. And so I want to leave you on a good note. I want to leave you laughing and giggling and having a good time. But it's from a podcast, Paleo Cheese podcast. We were talking about food and the death of malls and we growing up as mall rats and stuff. Accidental breastfeeding, like what it's like to be having a kid and the kid latches on, kind of thing. So we talked about that, but we also talked about cologne and perfume. And I talked about Brute, which I've said before on this show. I gave that up, guys. It's a bad habit. I gave it up. But we also talked about how I learned about pheromones. And so I'm going to talk about it here. I hope it doesn't get inappropriate. but I'm going to play it. And so I hope you enjoy it. And as soon as this segment is over, I'll pause it when it's over. It's not very long. When the story is over, we're going to come back, have closing credits, say goodbye and everything. And so once again, I want to thank you guys. You're amazing. And, I'm here because you guys. I'm here because of my family. I'm here because you guys. I'm here because I love this republic and the world that our Savior died for. So we're giving it our best, guys. Here you go. Dude, I have these like little sample things, man. Because I wear like things like Tommy. I'll have that. So if it's a day where it's kind of a lighter, breezier, sweeter thing, then Tommy, right? If I used to love Fahrenheit. But only
I could say pheromones.
Yeah, dude. Okay, I gotta say this. You brought up pheromones, so dude, and this is a little revealing. But I'm at this house with my wife's friend, and we're all sitting there. We're eating pizza and everything, and I'm lactose intolerant. But sometimes it goes okay, and sometimes it does not go okay. And this was one of those times that it did not go okay at all. And so I'm like, my stomach's doing the thing, and I'm thinking, oh no, dude, I'm at my, anytime you got to, drop off the kids at the pool at a friend's house, it's not necessarily the greatest thing.
It's not the ideal location for something.
No,
like that.
You're doing courtesy flushes left and right. I mean, you just fart in your courtesy flushing, hoping it will go away. And so I'm in the bathroom. I'm like, well, I ask them. I say, hey, do you guys have a bathroom? And they're like, yeah, it's right back there. And I'm like, I look back, bro. You have the dinner table. You got to imagine this. You have the dinner table.
Dude, I think you've told me this story before, but go ahead. Yeah.
It's right behind. So there's a wall right behind the head of the table. So the guy's sitting at the head of the table.
Yeah,
there's a wall and there's a toilet right on the other side of that wall. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And it's not big, right? And the walls are thin. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, dude, no, this is bad. So I go in there and I'm looking around for anything. I'd use hairspray. I wouldn't even care. His hairspray, it's spraying it in the air, anything to help, with the situation. Because they're eating food, dude, literally 5 feet from me. And I'm like, this is terrible. Well, they had the spray bottle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I sprayed it up in the air and it came, the mist comes back down. And dude, I don't mean to get graphic, but bro, I was straight up in the mood. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, dude, what is this? And it was like the greatest thing, man. I'm like, I don't know what this is, but I need it like right now. And I walked out and I asked them, and apparently they were with that organization, Pure Romance or whatever. And they told us a lot of things we didn't really need to know. But that was, I bought one. I bought one of those bottles, dude. I walked out with one.
It was like straight up pheromones.
It was infused. Yeah, it was pheromones, and it had other like essential oil things in there, and I got that, and I also got one that I thought it had pheromones too, dude. And it was, you spray it on your pillow when you go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
And that one's more earthy. Like that had kind of, I don't know, herbal smells more than kind of fruity or anything like that,
That might be, I've got a pillow.
All right, guys. I told you I would tell you the story, and I figured I would just tell it that way. That'd be much better. Really, really grateful. Here we go. That ending song, you know what it means. It's over for the day. And you can see my wife, my mega hot half Korean wife, the best secretary in the world. She is the leader of the staff. She's the empress of our castle. Right here at Paleocrat Diaries Team to Answer headquarters. If you want to learn more about that, including finding out more about the books that I encourage people to read, my suggested reading list, and books that have informed my life. If you'd like to know more about that, you have to go right now, paleocratdiaries.com. If you'd like to be interviewed on the show, or if you would like to have me interviewed on yours, or collaborate, or pick me up for a speech. I love doing speeches, colleges, high schools, doesn't matter, churches, men's groups, women's groups, all of that stuff. It's always fun. We always have a great time. If you want that or any other inquiry, make sure to email paleocratdiaries@gmail.com. Of course, subscribe to Paleo Cheese Podcast and Meaning of Catholic for more. And until next time, remember, never give up, keep on smiling, and memento mori. I love you.
If I don't talk into microphones, I don't make that mad cash. Making all that money. Making that mad loot, right?
Mind control.
So we see the minority elite imposing their ideology on an unwilling and resentful populace. This causes a backlash. People get ticked off. The left is working long and hard to make us feel as if we've done something wrong. Worse yet, that we are the problem. Don't let people just rip on your heritage. Don't let people just rip on your traditions. Don't let people rip on your heroes. Stand up for what you believe, what made you who you are. So unless this disenfranchised majority begins standing up for what they believe in their heart of hearts to be true, I think we'd be left with nothing more than a dirge and maybe a funeral procession.